gentlemen, and everyone in between. How the heck are you? I am the Lavender Lady, Diana Clarion. This is Coffee with Lavender, and it is the 5th of July. Yes, are you folks still trying to wake up after all the boom booms last night? Holy freaking shit. Anyway, yes, we are here to talk about this, that, and the other, and a lot of those things. And with us to do that is, for example, my co-host, the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful, Bionic Dance, Kate Farr. Hi, dear.
Hey, everybody. How the Hades are ya? I am mildly irritated. It's been one of those days where nothing major goes wrong, just lots of little tiny petty shit all at once. And so I'm kind of in a mood.
Oh, yay! That's a good thing. Yeah, that's you want your
Yes,
co-pilot in a mood.
moods.
Oh, Lord. And anyway, and behind her in the cockpit is the chief engineer, our navigator, the one and the only Mom NATO. Hi, dear. How are you?
Bah, fucking humbug. That's
You're
how I
6
am.
months off on that, dear.
Oh no, I can go humbug and humbug and humbug and
Oh, man,
yes,
yes,
man,
it's
between the fireworks, power outages, and now my water heater's not working, and my fucking dryer's not drying clothes.
Oh, for the love
So
of
it has
Saint
been
Gullick.
a shitty fucking week.
I don't know. This is, yeah, we got to do something about this, man. Oh, yes, and then the other thing is, yeah, you got tornado to put up with.
No, it's an everyday irritation. I've learned to deal with that.
Okay. Hello, tornado. We love you dearly.
Yes, he did
Even when
shout
you're punching
hello
the
from,
cobra.
Yes, he did shout hello from his bedroom. So, but he's sleeping.
He really is never going to live that down.
No, he's
never,
not.
ever. He's going to be 67, and we're still going to be giving him shit about. Well, maybe
It's
you guys are.
amusing.
I'm going to
I
be
think
dead
you're
by
sure
being
now.
which is more
optimistic that
amusing.
he's going to last that long.
I
I
don't
expect
know.
someone will kill him before he reaches 67.
Do I know who
I
that
don't
would
know
be?
which is more amusing, the punching the cobra comment or his reaction when people talk about it.
Kate's
Yes,
in
we're horrible.
Case in point, yes.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh my! Oh my!
So-
Greg Hartwick painted the garage. Well, the trim.
Mm.
That's
Been there, done
that's a
that.
good start. Don't you paint the entire garage before you do the trim? I'm just checking here.
It depends on whether or not you used vinyl siding on your garage or if your garage door is wood.
mean, If you want to talk about home maintenance, though, you know the plague, the pandemic has gone on for too long when I, of all people, am bored enough to tidy.
Yes, I saw that, and it's like, God, Kate's cleaning. You know, this is the end of the world. The apocalypse is upon us. I don't know.
The end of the world.
Yeah,
I
was
mean,
thinking
even
that.
I was tidying before Kate started, you know, so and I'm not finished yet. I'm never going to be finished.
I'm never finished because I have 3 animals that are all black that shed.
No. Tornado's not black.
No, but he's got dark brown hair, so he adds to the mess even more.
Oh my!
But the 2 cats and the dog, yes, they shed terribly.
I actually cleaned out 2 of my computers the other day because they were full of cat hair.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I know how that
And
one
it doesn't
works.
help. Like, I don't have the desk space to put my towers on the desk because I have 5 monitors, right?
Oh, Jesus.
And so my towers, my computers are on the floor, which means they'll collect even more.
Yes,
cat
they
hair.
will.
So I bought this like bushel of compressed air thingies, so that I can clean the computers out every I don't know how often. The only problem is there's so much crapola in them after like a month or two that like you know when you press the compressed air can And if you press it for too long, it starts to get really cold in your
Yes,
hand.
yes.
Yeah, so
That's where gloves come in handy.
Well, yes, but it was just unpleasant,
Well,
and I
yeah.
didn't care for it. I didn't like it, and it's all your fault. No, it's not your fault.
Arctic level gloves.
Sure it is. That's fine.
Now, what they want for a can of compressed air anymore? I haven't bought any in,
Oh,
in a while.
It's not
Jeez.
very expensive. I bought 4 of them, and it was like really cheap. I mean, in
Okay,
fact,
okay.
if I go look at Amazon, I can tell you exactly how much I paid. Let's see. Here we go. 4 of the compressed air canisters were about $12.
Okay, it's not all. How long does a can last? Just curious.
Depends.
Yeah, it depends on what you do with it. I
Yeah,
mean,
because I mean, for
I-
you,
like how messy is your computer? I can waste a whole canister on 2 computers.
okay, okay.
I have
if
half
I-
a canister left after cleaning mine and Tornado's computer out.
If I cleaned my machines as much as I should, I would probably be at your level, Kate. Because I mean, even with the machines on the desk over here, you can see one of them blinking the hard drive light right now. They still get plenty of cat hair in there, and with the dust all mingled in and everything else, and
No, go on. I thought you were done.
yeah, it gets pretty bad as far as removing the heat goes, because cat fur is
That's where
quite
I'm
the
about to
insulator. Ah, perfect.
Because I think I know maybe why my computer has been randomly rebooting its ass, and I think it's because it's overheating. I got this tool called Core Temp that tells you your CPU's temperature,
Yeah.
which is handy. And when I cleaned out my computers, the median temperature dropped by about 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure that computers, they have something in them that says when you reach a certain temperature, quick reboot, it's an emergency. And so I think that's why my computer has been rebooting, because since I cleaned them out, they don't do it as much, if at all. It's been a really long time now. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was the cause.
there's a Linux-based version of that core temp that I should probably install someday. I just keep forgetting to
Yeah.
do it every time I redo my machines.
They say that if you have a pet, you should clean out your computer with air about every 3 months.
Oh, that's plenty. I thought you were
Yeah.
about to say every 3 days.
No.
No, that's here.
For me, because I have 3 shedding animals, I would probably want to do mine every 1.5 to 2 months.
Wow, how often can Tornado possibly shed?
Every
And are you talking about hair or the outer layer of his skin?
hair.
All right.
It's really the dog and the cats that are doing it, not Tornado. Although Tornado does contribute every once in a while because he irritates me so much I'm pulling my own hair out.
There you go. Now, I'm lucky in the sense that Sylvia is short-haired. Back in the day, Ariel was a long-haired kitty, and she would shed like crazy. And yeah, everywhere was this long cat fur. It would pile up behind the doors because there were just the 2 of us in the apartment, so we had no need to close the doors or anything, nothing to hide from the kids or anything like that. So behind the doors, you get all the cat fur. There was enough to build an entire cat once you closed the door and take it out, and it would pile up in the machines also, because that's when I had one of those 30-inch tall towers on the floor. This was a while ago.
Sorry, I just, there's something I want to say, so.
Yeah, go for it.
When you're ready. Well, to what Nerdy Rodent said there, I assume you mean one of these for an intake filter. Because this sits on top of the vents, and it's like a much more fine screen than the vents on the computer. So I'm assuming that's what that is.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I don't have. I have the way my fans are on my computer. They're all inside the actual frame of the computer, and then I have a case that's built around it, so I don't get the blockage of the fans, just the grates.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier for me to clean my computer than it is Tornado's.
Wait, well, okay, never mind. I don't want to know.
Uh-oh.
Tornado's a computer has a fan. It's between the case of his computer, the plastic case, and the frame of his computer, of his
Okay.
tower.
You
It's
heard
really
the I don't
weird.
want to know part, right?
Yes, but I told you anyway, so.
I actually really wish I knew where I picked that up from, because that's almost certainly from something, but I don't know what. I actually think it might not be like a yeah, whatever sound. I think it might actually be more of a gleeful little thing that got turned into the way I use it now.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's similar to what my mom and I used to do when we just be teasing each other. It was nya 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 nya.
Okay.
So it's similar. So yeah.
It sounds a little bit like Charlie Brown's teacher. You know,
Well, that's more want than
Yeah.
nyeh, nyeh, nyeh.
yeah.
No. I know where it's from. It's from a video game. It's from Star Control. I want to say Origins. I can't remember. But there's this one alien race that's actually like a bunch of intelligent microbes kind of thing. And every time they speak to you, they go nyeh, 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 and then they say what they're gonna say, and they end it with nyeh, 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 like that. So that's where the fuck it's from.
Okay. So it's not Mars Attacks.
No. It's a video game.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where that's from. Man, I cannot believe it took me that long to figure that one out. Because I've been saying this for months, or doing the sound for months, and I can't. Oh well.
Well, at least you finally figured it out. It'll stop chewing on your brain.
And that's always a help.
Yeah.
Okay, I woke up this morning with a song in my head, and for the life of me, I don't know what it is. I think it's actually one of the musical numbers that they had in the show How I Met Your Mother, but I cannot like for the lyrics, I can remember exactly one word, and I'm not sure that's even the actual word, because I think the word is house. And the tune is something like something like that, and like it's house house like that, and I do not know what the frick it is. And I tried looking up all of the How I Met Your Mother musical numbers, and it didn't seem to be one of them. And I'm just like, what is this song? It's driving me up the wall.
Oh my. Okay, I cannot help you there because I know nothing of this television show.
Oh, it's such a great show. You should know something about it. I love, like, the last season's a little iffy, but the rest of it's amazing.
Oh my. Yeah, I'm not even watching baseball, so it's I mean that tells you how bad it is.
Well, okay, is there any baseball to watch?
They just started it up. It's sort of summer training, as they're calling it, and I don't even feel it anymore. It's horrible that I it's just baseball. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Well, the thing is, though, like, usually there's a way to stream games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the NBA is starting up here in Florida, and
Well,
I'm just like,
hold on. What I meant was online. There's a way to see them online.
I have
like
it. I have it, and I don't even care. That's what's bad about it. Yeah. It cost me $100 and something to get it because I had to pay the fee before everything shut down. We didn't know it was going to shut down yet.
There should be a way to see them for free. Okay, like when I watch the Super Bowl that one time every year that I watch football, you can just go to like CBS.com and they'll stream it at you. You have to watch the commercials, but they'll stream it at you. No money up front whatsoever. And I'm sure baseball's the same way.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I'm really not sure, but I've already paid the money. I paid the money back in February.
You might be able to get a refund.
That would be nice. It really would. Now, they were showing what they call classic games, so they think they're giving you something, and they're really not, because, I mean, when I watch the baseball, I want to see a game. I want to watch a game where I don't know the outcome, okay?
Right.
It's very important to me. But we'll see what happens. It's to the point now where, and it pains me because I love baseball. I dearly love baseball, but at this point I just don't care. All the fun, all the joy has been taken out.
I've been like, you know, the George Carlin routine about baseball versus football, right?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'm coming to realize that there is a lot more nuance to football than people give it credit for.
Mhm.
Like I have been playing this for a while because, again, bored, and so I dragged my old Xbox 360 out, and guess what? It works, which surprises me. But like I never really understood what any of the plays meant. You know, like I didn't know what the hell a nickel or dime formation looked like, you know? I mean, an I formation was easy to figure out, but the rest of that, and like the strategy of when to pass, when to run, all of that stuff, it's starting to gel in my head of how it works. And it like it's not just a bunch of big guys bashing into each other like a lot of people say derisively when they describe football. There's more to it than that.
Yeah, and I'm one of the people who do describe it that way because I guess I haven't got past the derision to the strategy. I guess I haven't learned enough that I know what you're talking about. You know, that sort of thing.
Well, if I had never been an Xbox tester and played this, I wouldn't be there either. Right? I mean, this was my football gateway drug right here. And now I still only watch the Super Bowl. I don't actually watch the games really until the Super Bowl. But like now I understand why you want to run in which direction, how to run to make sure you get through the line, all of that stuff. And then there's the passing game, and then there's all the defensive plays. And I'm like, okay, this is almost like forming a battle plan for a skirmish in a war.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it is a war game. It is a ground acquisition game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that comparison is valid.
Isn't it based on an old Viking game?
Well, I don't know about that part. But I've found that the isn't it based on this, that, or the other thing is often completely irrelevant to what we have today. Like you could say the same thing about a lot of music. You know, it's like, oh, this has its origin in ancient Hungarian nose singing. And it's like, yeah.
I know some composers who have written to that, yes.
but then you get like what grew out of it. And you might as well say, yeah, well, humans grew out of microbes. And it's like, okay, but that's like you look at what we have now, and it's so far removed from the origin that bringing it up doesn't really advance the conversation, is what I'm saying.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
know, but yeah.
Didn't Carlin do something about that too?
Oh yes, almost the same tune, in fact.
Yes, indeed. Oh my! No, the coaches in high school and junior high school wanted me to play. I was a big kid, and I just couldn't see the point in it. You know, the whole Carlin thing about 11 guys line up against 11 other guys, beat the shit out of them, take their land. And I think I've said it before, I wanted to play baseball. And I wanted to pitch in the worst way, and unfortunately I did. So, you know,
that answer. But I mean, the thing is, like, I understand why some people say that baseball is slow and boring. Like, I totally get it, because there isn't all that much action. You're
Right.
waiting for a guy to throw the ball. You're waiting for the ball to get to the guy who hits the ball, and then he runs, lather, rinse, repeat. And it just, there's not a lot of like, I don't know. It's hard. I'm not sure I can describe it. It's one of those things where you got to be able to empathize, I guess. But I mean, it's not a bad game. It's more of a like sit back and relax game than anything else.
Yeah.
Like I could never see myself like jumping up and going, do it, come on, man, like that with baseball. But there have been times watching the Super Bowl where I've been like, oh my gosh, they're doing it. Oh my gosh, it's working. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. Like there's more excitement, I think, for a well executed play.
Well, you want to talk about excitement. One thing that's going to stay in my mind forever. When I went to
Are those parasites?
Yes, those amoebas. When I viewed the total solar eclipse, I stopped in Chicago on the way out, and I actually saw a game at Wrigley. And it had to have been, at least as far as I'm concerned, the most exciting game of the entire season. This is the one where the Cubs were behind 9-0 in the second inning, and they came back to tie it, and they almost won it. And you had 4 home runs in one inning, 3 of them consecutive. To listen to that crowd going absolutely apeshit, they cheering like all hell, and so was I, as far as that goes. I'm a bit of a Cubs fan. That was the moment was right there. You were just in it, but as you say, compared to football, it doesn't happen as often.
Oh, watching a really well executed long pass makes me just, I love it. There's something about it. Or oh my gosh, a kickoff return for a touchdown is just amazing to see.
Okay.
Or a touchdown from an interception is also amazing to see. Unless, of course, it's the team you don't want to win.
Right.
But yeah.
And I'm a fan of defensive plays. I'm a fan of the outfielder reaching for the ball that's on its way over the fence. It's already cleared the fence, but because it hasn't hit anything yet, it's still in play. And he goes way back, grabs this thing, and the guy's out. Or even better than that is the one where your back is against the fence. You grab, and from the 400-foot sign, you throw, and you get you get out the guy who's running from third to come home. Plays like that are I love the I like the defensive plays more than I like the home runs. So I'm weird in that sense.
Well, we know that.
Yeah,
and it's not sense. But like the best sport of all though has to be clean ball.
Okay.
Clean ball, it's like hockey, but there's no skating or puck. You just hit each other with sticks.
Oh my! Well, I went to a fight once and a hockey game broke out. But that's
okay. That joke is even older than the one you pulled before.
Yes. No, I actually have. I've attended one hockey game. A friend took me out to the hockey game, and it was unfortunately the Penguins were playing the team that had to be the absolute worst in the NHL. So it was not what I remember watching on television when I would watch the Canadians, completely demolish whoever they were playing, or that sort of thing.
Hockey.
But it was it was nice.
I've been to a bunch of Sounders games, which is soccer in Seattle. I don't really care for soccer that much, but my friend who had the tickets is a really good friend. Probably my best friend from Seattle. No, definitely my best friend from Seattle, but we're it's sort of a dead heat between my best friend from San Diego, so it's hard to say who my actual best friend is. But like he had season tickets, and like his wife didn't want to go. And so he said, "Hey, Kate, want to go?" And to be perfectly honest, like I said, I don't care about soccer at all, but I wanted to hang out with my friend.
Okay.
So I went.
Right.
And I mean, soccer's okay, I guess. I don't know why Europe seems to have such a hard on for it.
Yeah, they go crazy to the point where you have violence and everything else, and it's like, why? I don't understand. But
Well, I just mean the game itself.
oh well, that too.
I look at the game and I'm like, these guys are doing so little compared to other sports. I mean, yeah, they're running and yeah, they're kicking, but there's so many times where it's just like, when is something more going to happen? It was like there was an episode, I want to say it was The Simpsons, but it might have been Futurama, one of those Matt Groening shows, where they made fun of this, where there's like three guys on a soccer team. One's here, and someone from the other team is here. And they're standing completely in place, feet rooted, except to kick the ball, and then kick the ball, and then kick the ball, like back and forth between each other without running around. And like the American announcer is going, okay, they kicked. Okay, they kicked. And then they get like the Spanish announcer who's going, oh my God, it is to this guy, to that guy, you know, and I'm like, how do you get that excited about that? And while it's a parody, while it's obviously over the top, it sort of had accuracy to it. I was like, this is similar enough to my experience watching soccer that I get it.
Okay, well, I do admit that I like the Spanish soccer announcer. You know, yeah, that one. Yeah, I love the way Robin Williams does that one. But
because he did it for golf.
yes.
You know, like the guy, yeah.
And it,
Yeah.
when
Robin
he
Williams
does, when
was
the announcer does it, carries on for a minute and a half. You know,
it just I don't get the thrill of soccer. I just don't. I don't see it as a loss. I don't care that much. But you know,
uh-huh.
oh well.
But
Oh well. I mean, I wish I understood. That's the thing. I wish I understood.
oh, okay. So I could wrap two of them into one because one game I wish I understood, but for some stupid reason, I absolutely love the game. Is Australian rules football?
I don't know that one.
It,
Is that the one where they beat each other up?
Yes, that's the entire point of the game. It's crazy, absolutely nuts. But when Mel and I had the cable television on one of the channels, we would get the Australian rules football and would just sit there loving every minute of it. I miss that shit. I mean, that would be one reason if I had the money to get the cable access, you know, to get the cable television or whatever you want to call it, just for the Australian rules football. Oh, and the tractor pulls in eastern Pennsylvania. Yes, they would broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
They would broadcast tractor pulls.
I have to say though, the best sports, my favorite sports, are the completely made up sci-fi sports because some of those look really cool. Like if you've ever seen the movie Solar Babies, they have this weird it looks like some cross between lacrosse and roller skating, like roller derby meets lacrosse kind of thing. And then, of course, there's all those weird video game sports in Tron that I absolutely adore. And just like every now and then, what is that one? Actually, there's multiple sports from Star Trek, because I remember Parisi Squares. But there was another one where there was an episode where Riker's father shows up for whatever reason, and they end up doing this sort of like, it has a Japanese sounding name, like Shikanjitsu or something, but basically you're hitting each other with a big staff. And,
Okay.
you know, and it's just that kind of thing is awesome when they have a sci-fi sport.
All right, then. Or the other one I dearly love appeared in Mad Magazine years ago called 43-Man Squamish. And it is
I remember that name. I don't know what it was, But yeah.
It's a parody on every field game in existence where you had played on a three-sided field and something about a footnick and yeah, you have to read the rules. You've got to look this up, people. 43-man Squamish, and somebody had to be doing a lot of drugs to come up with those rules because they were absolutely hilarious.
Well, I mean, of course, there's always Calvin Ball, and
Okay,
there's
yeah.
Baskice Ball. Baskice Ball is from How I Met Your Mother. And there was, of course, Blurns Ball from Futurama.
Yes, yeah, I remember Blurns Ball. Yeah. Oh, my
So,
word. Hey, hi, Beth. How you doing? Yeah, we're talking about stuff and things and absolutely no rhyme or reason. Like, that's unusual on this live
whatsoever.
stream.
I am having a very difficult time finding a reference art for what I'm trying to do right now. Because I'm trying to build a laboratory in 3D and CGI for my animation. And, I mean, I could make up lab equipment just out of my head if I wanted to, but trying to dig up retro laboratories is hard because all I can find is either like pictures of test tubes and beakers or like I find more futuristic, more modern looking labs, and just finding like that retro 50s Jetson style lab is kind of an exercise in futility right now. I don't know how to correct
Kitty
that.
agrees.
Yeah, Xander, what is up with you? He is such a talker. Like he's one of those cats. He'll walk around just brr, 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 like constantly, and sometimes you can tell he sounds like he's in distress. Sometimes he's lonely or bored. You can kind of tell which one it is, but a lot of the time it's just randomly he loves to do it, and that's all. Okay, what the hell? My browser just totally froze. What the hell?
Oops, we don't want that. No. This browser's doing all right, so it must be on your side of the network.
Oh no. Not the stream, the browser. Like I cannot change
Firefox.
Windows, I cannot do anything.
Oh, so that's
with it.
definitely okay. Yeah. No, here I was thinking that YouTube was giving you shit. Just plain old YouTube. No, okay.
No, I mean like and for some reason, okay, it seems to be oh, that's what's going on. There's like this window that opened in another monitor, a different monitor.
Okay, and then.
I didn't see it, and it was like it was insisting, no, click on this dialogue or we're not going to let you do shit. And,
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, and so it took a bit to find it. Oh, what a pain in the ass.
Yeah, if anybody in the audience is curious, the link I posted in the side chat is for a description of 43-man Squamish.
Okay. Sorry, I'm having my first drink of soda today, so I'm kind of quiet.
Copy link address. I want to, because I haven't actually seen this for quite some time. Okay. Okay, that's how it's spelled. Because there are a lot of places in Washington State that have Native American names, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are spelled in ways that don't seem particularly phonetic. Like there's this one place that looks like Sequium, but it's pronounced Squim.
Oh yes, a friend of mine lived there for a while.
And I'm pretty sure that there's a place in Washington State that sounds like Squamish, but it's not spelled the same as it is here on the Mad Magazine page. So and it's like not a part of Washington I ever went to.
Okay, Squim is on Puget Sound, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's near. Yeah, I mean, it's in that general area.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. It's spelled almost the same way, except there's a U between the S and the Q. Is Squamish. Like it looks like it should be Suquamish, but it's Squamish.
Okay, then.
Okay, it's in Kitsap County, so that would be like across. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's across the sound from Seattle is Kitsap County, and I only know that because the girl I moved to Seattle for lived in Poulsbo, which is like right next to it. Or no, in Kitsap County, but it's right next to Squamish.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Poulsbo sucked. But anyway.
Yeah, so, Squim right there by Seattle and stuff. What's really great is I found a guy, a professor at Central Washington University, who is a geology professor, and he's got a whole bunch of really great videos on the geology of Cascadia. And Nick Zentner, I believe his name is. If you are into that sort of thing, he's got some pretty good stuff.
No, I'm not into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know me. I want fiction more than fact.
Yeah, I know. There's there's a lot to be said for fiction, but I like fact as well. So I'm weird in that sense.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because, like I said, when I was a kid, I was just immersed in so much post Star Wars sci-fi that it became. I mean, I don't want to say it became my whole life, but I guess it kind of did. It's one of the reasons I went into animation is because I wanted to make my own Star Wars. You know, like do it my style. Not even necessarily like a Star Wars fan film. I mean, my own sci-fi franchise. And so that's so much of my motivation came from there. But I mean, the point is that when people would say, "Hey, here's this nonfiction thing you can read about history or science, geology, whatever," I'm like, "Yeah, but are there any spaceships, robots, laser guns, or aliens?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "So why would I enjoy this?" That's just like, I don't know. And it's unfathomable to me that someone could look at sci-fi with indifference.
Oh, I like sci-fi. It's just I like other things as well. And in case anybody in the audience gives a shit, I posted Zentner's YouTube channel. Tell him I sent you. He won't know who the hell you're talking about.
But still, I mean, it's just we run in such different worlds, you and I.
Yeah, I guess we do. I mean, that stuff can be complimentary, but what do you do?
Well, I mean, you said, well, but I like sci-fi too. I'm like, yeah, but you're probably not going to cosplay at Comic-Con, now are you?
No, I am not going to do that. Number one, I cannot afford it.
Well, okay, but even if you could, it's not an ambition of yours.
It's not high on my list of priorities. Yeah.
Well, this is what I'm saying, and so like we totally run in different worlds when it comes to this stuff.
Oh my. But then again, I'm the one. I don't know if they still do it or not. I have stood behind Niagara Falls. That's fun.
How?
I mean, you're in this cave and watching that much water falling through space in front of your face. And oh my word, it's impressive.
But how is that? I mean, okay, water succumbed to gravity. Whoopita. I mean, seriously,
I told you I'm weird.
Well, but I don't get the appeal. I don't get why that's impressive. It's not an accomplishment.
I don't. It just plucks the right strings, I guess. I mean, that sort of thing, and then going down into the caves, Mammoth Cave, and what's the one in New Mexico? Carlsbad Caverns. I've done the wet cave. I've done the dry cave. Just looking at that shit, it
But is Carl really that bad?
well is bad in a good way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I realize I could probably look it up and find out, but I sometimes wonder where names like that came from. I mean, was there a dude named Carl who was kind of a bit of a bastard, and they decided, well, he founded this town, but we don't like him, so we're naming it after him in an unflattering manner. And to be perfectly honest, I could look it up, but I actually don't want to know the real origin of the name. Why? Because what I make up is probably going to be more interesting. I mean, it's kind of like that Patton Oswalt routine about the origin of Burbank, where it was just some dude named David Burbank decided this is a city and I'm naming it after myself. Where Patton was like, well, okay, it would have been so much cooler if there'd been like this long pilgrimy trek where you had to fight wild animals and this, that, and the other thing. And they settled Burbank, and it was this big struggle to put. No, it was just some rich dude who said, this is a town now. And that was it.
Okay.
And so if I look up why Carlsbad is called Carlsbad, I'm going to be like, oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah. You don't want to look it up. It's absolutely boring.
Yeah.
Because I just looked it up, and there is no exciting origin to the name. No, none.
Yeah, I mean, this is why sometimes I actually think ignorance is mildly better. Like if it's knowing ignorance of something insignificant, go for it. If it makes you happy, go for it. Just don't be ignorant about things that matter, like actually genuinely matter.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, okay, learn how evolution works. That's important.
Yes.
Learning how Carlsbad got its name, not so much.
There you go. Oh my word. Yeah, learn how to successfully troll AIG. That's always a good one. It doesn't happen as often as I would like, but I do have the ability to get under the skin of those people, and it's always a joy when I do.
I'm not sure I've ever had direct contact with them. I'm not sure I could wind them up just because they wouldn't know I exist.
I go on. Okay, I don't know if you follow them or not. I assume not.
No.
I'm following AIG, and he puts up the same 12 articles from his magazine, whatever the fuck it is. Just rotates them over and over and over and over, and I'm following. So every time he puts up an article, a whole shitload of us just pile on and say, okay, this is why this is wrong, and we're actually doing it right. We're saying, like, this really is the way this is wrong, but there are the occasional times where we really, really get on their nerves, and it's beautiful. It really is. Why do I find it so joyful? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a masochist. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I think it sounds more like being a sadist, to be honest. I mean,
well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
I'm strangely okay with that.
The masochism part is coming from going there in the first place and actually reading this shit. Well, after a while, all you have to do is see the title, and you know the damn article from memory, and you know it's bad at that point.
Yeah, you just put another song in my head. Thank you so much.
I am so happy I could be of help, be of service. I'm good for something, right?
Well, I don't know. Like you said, masochism. Can you guess what song went through my head?
Wouldn't be anything by Tom Lehrer, would it?
I am afraid it would. I ache for the touch of your lips, dear, but much more for the touch of your whips, dear. You can raise welts like nobody else as we dance to the masochism tango.
In a public performance, my girlfriend at the time and I actually danced the masochism tango, And
God.
yes, we actually performed what he was talking about. I mean, not for realsies or anything like that, but she did set fire to my tie. I had it rigged up with flash string and a little switch in my pocket. We tested it a couple of times to make sure I wouldn't get my face burned off.
Well, I used to do karaoke a lot back in Seattle because I had some friends who made a habit of it, and they would always drag me along. And of course, I enjoy it. But the thing is, like the wait for your turn to come up is often pretty long.
Oh, yeah.
So I would try to pick longer songs, so I was up there longer, having the fun longer. But if there was ever like a small crowd, I would choose some of the shorter songs, like, for example, "Sit on My Face" by Monty Python. Because that is not a long song, and so waiting for it takes a really long time. But like I say, if it's a small crowd, you can just get up there and sit on my face and tell me that you love me. It's an absolute blast to do it.
The only problem I ever had with the karaoke is that you had to bring your own cheering section with you. At least wherever I went and everything, they just didn't care about the people they didn't know. They were just there to get, they would get drunk and pat their friends on their backs. So, if you'll excuse my blowing my own horn, if you will. I mean, I was damn good. I was better than most of the people up on there. But they would ignore me because they didn't know who I was. And they were all so drunk they weren't hearing it.
Well, I had a couple of songs that were very much crowd pleasers, where even people who didn't know me were into it. For example, Yakko's World. There was a time I got up there, stepped to the side of the monitor so they knew I had it memorized, and just United States, Canada, Mexico, Canada, and free drinks for that song. Free drinks.
All
People
right.
were like, "Oh my God, that was fucking amazing." So, like I said, there's a few crowd pleasers out there.
Yeah, there was one place I used to go to years and years ago where, the crowd they did like it and everything else. They got to know me after a while. I was doing a lot of Sinatra, and if you'll excuse the expression, I mean, back in those days, I did a better Sinatra than Sinatra. And they would always be nice and happy whenever I came up, and especially some of the punch hard songs like New York, New York, for example. They loved that one, and That's Life is another one that really stirred up the crowd.
Not really my genre of music. If you did that, I'd be largely indifferent, if not bored. But that's just me. The closest, like if you wanted to impress me, do Durante. That's like the closest I can get to that genre of music and enjoying it.
Okay, then.
One of my, well, it's not my favorite movie, not one of my favorite, but a movie I really enjoy is called Greedy, which is a really fun movie. It starts and you don't know it at first, but it is a bit of a plot point that it starts with footage of Durante singing Inka-Dinka-Doo. And that does become a major plot point by the end of the movie. But, and listening to it, I'm like, this kind of reminds me of my grandparents in a very nostalgic kind of way, like especially my grandpa Tony, my dad's dad. There's just something about listening to Durante that makes me think about Grandpa Tony. So
the one I always wished I could do, and I did not have the range for it, and I don't think I'd even have the range for it now. I wanted to do Minnie the Moocher, the cab cowboy, and the whole thing. You jump up on the bar and then do this whole, getting the crowd into it and everything else, but that went a little too high for my vocal range, and I wasn't going to kill my throat.
I only know that song because of the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I can keep up with the scatting right up until the end. You know, I
Yeah.
think my favorite scatting that he does has to be scoodly-voos, scoodly-voos, scoodly-voodly-voodly-voos. I don't know why, but scoodly-voos is a very funny word, and I love it.
Okay, it sounds, I don't know, like a drunk Frenchman trying to make a pass at. Yeah, I don't know.
Possibly, I don't know. It reminds me of. I'm sure you've never watched Invader Zim, but it's about a little alien who shows up on Earth and tries to blend in by going to like school with a bunch of kids because that's his size. And at one point, like they're playing dodgeball or something, and this one kid gets hit, and he goes, "Oh, my spleen!" And like Zim is laughing at him, and then he gets hit by a ball and he goes, "Oh, my squeedly spooch." So, yeah. Anyway, it's
Oh
really
my.
difficult watching that show to remember that Zim is not actually a kid, he's just small.
Okay, then I don't. Has it finally occurred that dodgeball has been ruled illegal? I'll tell you what. I got hit a few times, um, to the point where it was not enjoyable. I actually got knocked out once. Knocked
That
on.
explains a lot.
Yes, it does.
Well, I mean, I got thwonked in the face during dodgeball once, and it was very, very deliberate. It was one of the kids who didn't like me. And like at the time, I didn't have contacts yet, and my glasses went flying, and I didn't pass out, but I was definitely stunned.
Okay, okay.
And boy, did that kid get in trouble. You know, gym teacher comes over, "You don't do that." And I was like, wow, someone actually got in trouble for fucking with me. You like call the press.
Holy shit, man. Now, what happened in my case was I got nailed, got in just the right place where my legs were taken out from under me. I hit the ground. They tell me I was out for maybe 15 seconds or something like that. Nothing came of it. Everything was all right. And remember now that this was at a CYO camp, okay, Catholic Youth Organization. Notice the first
Right.
word. Yeah. Um, so that was all kinds of fun. But yeah,
Oh, your face hurts. Well, pray to the Lord.
there you
The
are,
Hindu.
yeah. And there was another time, I forget what it was. It might have been basketball or something, where I got knocked down, hit the back of my head on the gym floor,
Ugh.
and I was out. I was out of school for a couple days for that one.
Well, you know, I was looking up a bunch of websites. I don't know why, and like exactly what my search criteria were, but I ran across one that was talking about how fight scenes in the movies are nothing like the fight scenes in real life. And one of the things they talked about was getting knocked out. Because the way the movies portray it, you know, someone thwonks you on the head and you're asleep for a little while, wake up with a headache.
Mhm.
But if you actually got knocked out due to head trauma, it will leave so many lasting effects.
Yes.
It will fuck you up hard.
Yes.
And people don't realize that.
Yeah, I
You know,
sometimes.
movies that told us all you have to do is hit someone on the head and they just, they're out for a bit.
No. Yeah, I sometimes catch myself wondering whether the hitting my head on a gym floor contributed to the broken brain, but I have to remind myself, no, it did not. It was broken already. And it didn't get hit in the right place for it to contribute to that anyway. I mean, I got hit back here, and my brain is broken up here, the parietal lobe on the side. So yeah, you got a little shit going on there and everything else. And
So it went from a parietal lobe to a parietal loaf, eh?
yes, pretty much.
Hmm?
Oh man, it is. Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that happened in gym classes back then, I know some of it's been ruled illegal already. I'd like to see all of it ruled illegal. Really, I mean, it was pretty damn rough.
I really hope that nobody makes dodgeball illegal because, like, in spite of that time I got hit in the face, It's actually a very fun game. In fact, I was talking about VR earlier. My favorite VR game, which is really more of a VR sport, has dodgeball as part of its basis. It's like dodgeball meets racquetball, and
That's
it is so much fun.
that's the Spark, isn't it?
Yes, Spark
Yes.
is such a great game. Oh, I love it to death. I really do.
Out of curiosity, I don't know how much it means to the conversation. How large were the balls that they were using in the dodgeball?
They were like kickballs.
Okay, so the size didn't change very much from what I remember. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh, it's so funny that there's these memes that have been going around where it's like, my teacher said you can't hear a picture. Well, what about this? And it's a picture of a kickball. And yeah, that sort of like echoey bing sound
yeah,
that it makes.
yeah.
Oh, you can totally hear that in your head. It's kind of like the you can't feel a picture, and they have the one with the person who gets their tooth clipped and eats ice cream. I know I've shown you that one before. And, it's like, yeah, you can feel a picture. Of course you can. There was another, you can't hear a picture, and it's like the Star Wars logo and the crawl.
Okay,
It's like,
yeah.
I can hear that picture too.
I will never in my entire life understand how someone actually decided that, I think it was he, I'm not sure, was going to clip the tooth, first of all.
Okay. I don't think that's what actually happened.
Oh, okay.
I suspect that someone took a picture of someone with the nail clippers on their tooth. They took it away, found a picture of someone whose tooth had been broken, and composited that into the final picture. And then all you had to do was find a picture of someone with ice cream.
I would hope so.
I mean, I don't think that meme was actually made as depicted.
I would hope so. I know people will do some really weird shit.
Oh,
So
of course they
it's,
will.
yeah, that's why that is something I did not dismiss out of hand.
Did you see there's like an article going around about a bunch of like teenagers who put a bunch of money in a pool and then had a party where the first person who caught COVID
Yes.
gets the pool.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, how about we serve some Tide Pods for dessert, as appetizers,
Yeah.
or because that's how stupid that is. It was kind of like there was this movie. I really wish I could remember what it's called. It's a Japanese movie where it becomes popular to commit suicide and to do it spectacularly, like on camera in crazy ass ways. And like I remember watching this going, this is sick. The Japanese are so crazy when it comes to their fiction. They really are.
Oh yes, indeed. It must be the radiation from the bomb drops in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'll tell you, it fried their brains and for generations on into the future. Shit, that's where Godzilla came from. That's what's going on here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no, now we're all in trouble here. Jesus Christ. Hi, sweetie.
Oh, it's that fella.
Our bombardier is here. Yes, sitting in the Lexan nose with the Norden bomb sight. How you
And one
doing,
hand
honey?
firmly wrapped around his cobra.
All of a sudden,
And
he's
the fact that he
gone.
didn't just ball me out
think
for that
you're
makes me
muted,
think that his
Callan.
microphone's off.
You're
Oh,
muted. Let me
Is
see
he-
what's going on.
Is he muticated?
I think I may have actually found sufficient concept art now for
The
some
hardware,
laboratory ideas.
hardware mute. I figured it out.
Oh my, oh my.
There's actually like this sort of sci-fi Lego garden picture that I just found that looks really cool.
Ah. Oh,
How cool is that?
Hmm?
it does have some appeal. Yes.
Yeah. People do crazy things with their Legos, and some of it's really awesome.
I wonder what the purple leaves with the cobra growing out of them were supposed to be, but
Well, I'm sure it's an alien plant of some sort.
And-
Like it doesn't exist. It's sci-fi.
but was somebody supposed to punch it or what? You know?
But yeah,
Guys are
looking for
terrible.
like
Thank you.
random ass lab pictures, and these are the ones I'm finding. Just because like I say, one of the major characters in my animation is a scientist, and he needs to have a lab, and so I've been trying to make one, and I don't I'm just barely getting started on it, and
I never
it
looked.
looks all
I never worked in a lab that looked like any of those, let me tell you. If you want to depict a lab, do not depict a real one. They are extremely boring.
well. That's part of the issue I was having.
mm,
Is that real labs look awful.
yes.
Like they're not impressive.
No, they're not. Not at all.
Boring is sin, huh?
But if your search criteria are like retro sci-fi laboratory, you actually get very little in terms of good results.
Uh-huh.
You end up with a lot of like not actually what you searched for.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing in the world like looking at 29 fume hoods all in a bunch of rows, you know.
Okay, quick question, because
Yes,
you
dear.
probably know this.
Hmm.
When they have that glass device where there's like a ball on one end and a tube that goes spiral to something else, what the hell is that called?
Oh, actually, I think what you're talking about may be two things clipped together. The ball with the neck coming out of it, that's called a retort. And then the whole spiral thing is a condenser. And what
Okay, but they usually look like one single item.
okay, there might be some out there. There might be some condensers out there that are shaped like that, where yeah, you put the stuff in the ball and you boil it, and when you're distilling, and you
So
get the
basically, you're trying to get a lot of the moisture out.
well, you've got a mixture of two things with different boiling points, and you boil
Okay.
off the low boiling point fraction and leave the high boiling fraction behind.
Or you just want to purify your water.
Well, either way, the point being that I've been seeing those for ages, and I've been looking for a name for them.
Okay, then,
Is
yeah.
the thing. Is like there's so many times where you know exactly what you're looking at. You've seen it 1,000 times before, but you've never heard anyone say what it's called.
It's a distillery.
Oh.
Yeah, let's
I don't know.
see.
I mean, the closest I got until now was alembic. But I think that's something different. But it
Yeah,
looks very
alembic.
It's just usually made out of like metal.
Okay.
It's a distillery. That's all it is.
Oops, not what I wanted. Let's
No, that's
open
not what I'm
a
getting.
window.
I'm getting a city in Germany, and it's not working. I think I know what you're talking about.
I mean, this is a glass alembic right here, but like most of what I'm seeing looks a lot closer to that for an alembic.
It's the same thing.
Okay, then.
That
But-
is a distillery.
But it
That-
doesn't look like the thing that I see in pictures of laboratories, is the point.
Yeah, you're seeing that pipe going from one to the other that's worked into a spiral, right?
Yes,
And-
yes.
okay,
and
this-
it's inevitably made out of glass.
The spiral is there simply for better heat exchange. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
what you're looking at over there is a moonshine still.
Well, still, when I looked up alembic, that's most of what I got is stuff that looks like that.
Basically, you want a reason for those spirals. Yeah, it's like they say better heat exchange and better temperature exchange in general.
That's what I
Because
said.
one of the
But I didn't want a reason for it. I wanted a name for it.
I just refer to it as the engine cooler.
Okay.
You know why?
I don't want to hear about you cooling your engine, if you know what I
Well, I refer to it as the engine cooler because of its use on the space shuttle.
mean. You know what I'm saying here.
Mhm. Yeah, that's where you cool your Cobra before you punch it.
Shut up!
Actually, no. Cooling your engine is basically, it's you've cooled your engine after punching the Cobra. It's that,
There you go. Yeah, okay, yeah.
that moment.
Will you stop that?
Never. Okay,
Aw,
you
we
have to
love you,
understand
honey.
here, Tornado. The only way that will ever stop is when it stops being funny, and it won't stop being funny until you stop reacting like that.
The only reason we do this stuff is because we love you. Okay, if we stop,
Yeah.
then you know that you're on our bad side. Oh my word.
You
I
guys
mean,
are
it's kind of the way
terrible.
that I will probably not stop calling stool sample until it stops being funny. Like I was saying, every time he throws anything even remotely resembling a fit, I win.
Yeah, there you go. You still here, honey? You still here, Stool?
I mean, we love you to death, dude, but there are times when you react poorly.
Hi, Josiah. Yay!
Anyway, Crystal River is currently starting to feel the effects of.
Yes, I already mentioned that earlier.
I think what is
Mhm.
it we're up to in the city, entire city. Like,
11,000.
Where are we here?
11,000 a day.
Well, that's the state, right? I would hope that's the entire state,
Well, yeah.
and not
that's
just
the
yours, not just your
Yeah,
Citrus
no.
County.
Okay, before the states reopened, we had 99 cases in Crystal River. We are up to 327 now.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me they're
that
not opening early.
picture I just shared, that is
Mhm.
what I have for my lab so far.
Oh my!
So I would have shown it before we changed subjects, but it was busy rendering, so it took
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I think if you'll pardon the expression, that may need a little bit more stuff added. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
We have-
started it yesterday.
Yeah, we have gone up 34.2% in the last week in the number of cases.
Yeah, which is not good. Not good at all.
and they refuse to close the state.
Now
Yep.
the Miami numbers. What do I have it correct that they have more or less doubled in the last week?
Yes. Everywhere in Florida, it has doubled.
Yeah,
In the
because
last
I remember Zaphod the Zeroth mentioning that there were 9,600 cases in one day.
Yep.
And then what is it that you just said something about 19,000?
No, 11,000 yesterday.
11,000. So it hasn't doubled. I'm sorry.
So
Well,
I
but-
have to say, though, I think you were being a little greedy and possessive. It's not just your Amy.
There you are.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it has doubled when you consider the fact that the day before yesterday there were only 5,000 new cases.
Only.
Only.
Yeah. We went from 9,800 in some cases, then it dropped down to 5,000. Now it's back up to 11,000.
Yeah, and because it dropped back to 5,000, I can just hear it now. We win! Let's open everything! And it's
Well,
like, fuck
what
you
it
guys!
was they had they had so many people come in for testing, they had to close the sites early because they ran out of testing kits.
Well, but if you don't test, there'll be fewer cases.
You beat me to it, honey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why Trump wanted to slow down testing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Well-
that the numbers are skewed better.
And you know what's extra sick about Trump these days is that he keeps insisting, if you don't bend to my will, I will defund your state.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't do that.
well, but he's threatening to.
Well, what he can do in some cases is, okay, if there is something within his power to do, but he's not allowed to do it, he'll do it anyway. And then, let the legal procedure take all the time it's going to take, go through the courts until he's finally told that, no, you were not allowed to do that. But by that time, it's pointless because the effect has already been obtained.
Quick question.
Yes, dear.
Well, okay, because this is about lab equipment again. What do you call that thing where it's like two antenna-looking electrodes and you get the electricity going?
Jacob's
Oh,
ladder.
that's a Jacob's ladder. Yeah.
Okay. It's weird how many of these things I've seen 1,000 times, but never actually heard them named, never heard them called anything.
Yeah, that's a really neat effect. There's no purpose to it. It's just, it looks nice.
Well, I needed the name so I could look up a picture so I could actually see what the base looks like.
Yeah.
Like we've all seen the rabbit ears going up, but I've never actually seen the box that they're attached to.
Okay, I got you.
Sometimes there is no box.
Well, yes, there is.
Well, sometimes
I'm looking at images of it right the heck now.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that sometimes you might have the box somewhere else on the table and you just have leads going to the rabbit ears, but no.
But the rabbit ears have to be attached to something. That's why I say the base. I'm not talking about the power supply. I'm just talking about
the base. Okay.
I'm just talking about whatever they're sitting in.
Yeah, and sometimes that could be as simple as a block of wood. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at one right now that I'm not going to say it is a block of wood. It's just sitting on one. I think we might be talking at cross purposes here, because this right here, yes, is a slab of wood, but the part I wanted to know about was this.
Oh, yeah, that's an insulator. Yeah.
Well, but I need to know what it looked like was the point. Because if I'm going to build one in CGI, I kind of need that imagery.
Mm-hmm. I have used so many of those in setting up telephone cables. Yeah, they're for connecting cables end to end and keeping the connections separate from each other.
Yeah, there are so many things where I want to know what they are or what they look like, and if you try to search for it on the internet, you come up with bupkis. Again, I'm working on this animation. I've been working on it for a long time, and there is going to be a big honkin' space battle at the end of it. But one thing I could not find for the life of me was a cartoon explosion where you see all of it. You don't ever see the smoke dissipate from the explosion. You'll watch cartoons with big old battles. You will inevitably see them cut away from the explosion before the smoke dissipates. Almost inevitably. I found 1 or 2 examples of it. It's almost like people don't know how to animate it. But because of what I'm doing, I need that. And it's actually really hard to do in in CGI, is to make a good-looking explosion, never mind one that looks cartoonish. So I was having the worst time finding that, and I still have found 1 or 2 examples tops.
I was actually impressed when I learned one of the techniques that was in use, maybe still is, for explosions in space. I think what I saw was a Star Wars explosion where you hang whatever it is that's to be exploded from the ceiling, and then you have the camera with a sheet of glass in between. Yeah, so you see the shit falling down, and it looks like it's... Yeah, I was impressed. Hey, that's a great idea.
Well, I mean, speaking as someone who went to film school, that is old news to me. I've seen that I've watched so many documentaries on special effects and how they were done. And so, yeah, that,
Well,
because you watch a lot of those old sci-fi and like the ones where you can see the strings, and they'll have the spaceship and like here's the engine, you see the flames going upward,
yeah,
because
yeah.
well, heat does that, fire does that. And it wasn't really until Star Wars that they realized, let's hang it upside down so that the smoke, the fire, the flames, the exhaust goes up. There were a bunch of mistakes of gravity like that in movies where they didn't have a clue. I mean, take a look at the first Superman movie. There's a scene where he is literally standing on the windows of a building, like horizontally, except that his cape is basically stuck up to his butt. So you can tell
Right.
all they did was rotate the camera. And no one thought, no, like there might have been a Phil at the back of the room going, guys, what are the cape, guys? And
Uh-huh.
and no one paid any attention, obviously, because it's Phil. But like so many internet geek sites that point out the problems, like continuity problems and stuff like that in movies, have pointed to that one specifically.
Yeah, and then you get the cape hanging uh, in the Batman television series, and they actually made use of the whole rotating camera because you'd film it sideways basically, and with the cape hanging, you'd expect that, and that actually worked out pretty well. And when the window would open and somebody, some figure would pop out, like Roddy McDowell or some of the
Really?
other. Yeah, Roddy McDowell popped
Who
his
did
head
he
out of one of the windows at one point.
who did he play in Batman?
He was just a cameo in this particular thing.
Okay, so he was playing himself?
Yeah,
Okay.
he may
I,
have played another supervillain. I'm not sure, but
I never would have thought he was even a thing yet by then. I mean, like, wasn't he only famous because of wrestling at first?
um,
Are we
thinking
talking about the same Roddy McDowell?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This Roddy McDowell, he was an actor, born in 1928, died in 1998, known for portraying Cornelius and Caesar in the original Planet of the Apes. Um,
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Maybe I've got the name mixed up.
Here we go, Roddy McDowell, Batman.
Oh, I'm thinking of Roddy Piper. That's why.
Oh, okay, and maybe I have this one wrong because he did play a supervillain in the Batman TV series. He played the Bookworm.
Okay, well, there's no way that Roddy Piper would have played a bookworm. But yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I was thinking of Roddy Piper from WWF.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that name I
which,
actually
which,
know. Yeah.
which I never watched, but I remember him from, again, They Live, the movie They Live. So he's the one who spoke the line, I came here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, or kick ass and chew bubble gum, whatever, and
And
I'm
I'm
all
all
out of
out of
gum.
bubble. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's him.
I
And when you
came
said
here to
Roddy,
Jew bubble.
that's where my brain went. Yeah.
Okay, so
Duke
now
Nukem.
we have every. Okay, this isn't every Bat Climb window cameo from Batman 1966 in one 13-minute video. So okay, they are going to list them. Okay, good. Jerry Lewis, Dick Clark,
Huh.
the Green Hornet and Kato, Sammy Davis Jr., Bill Dana as Jose Jimenez, Howard Duff as Detective Sam Stone, Werner Klemperer as Colonel Klink.
That,
He played Colonel Klink in Hogan's Heroes. He's also the
which I've never watched.
okay. He was also the grandson of the conductor Otto Klemperer. Then we have Ted Cassidy as Lurch, Don
Who's
Ho,
that?
From the Addams Family television series. You rang. I can't even do it right because God, his voice was low. Don Ho, Santa Claus, Art Linkletter, Edward G. Robinson, Susie Knickerbocker. No, I don't know who that is. Cyril Lord, the Carpet King. That was number 14. I don't see any more. Oh, well, we go. Oh no, this is not Catwoman. No, this is way off base here. Yeah, so there were a lot of figures that people knew from television, etc. That popped their heads out of the windows as Batman and Robin were climbing up the side of a building.
Now, are we referring to Batman?
Yes, Adam West Batman.
Yeah, 1966. Yeah, 1966, way before you were even thought of.
It's hard to believe that
Hell, before my
Adam
mom
West
was
is
even
dead.
thought of.
Like that's hard to picture.
Wait a minute, what is hard?
Adam West, I mean, he's dead, right?
I don't know.
Not
I don't
that
know.
I know of.
Yeah, Adam West
Or he
kicked
died
the bucket.
recently.
Yeah, 2017 he died.
Yeah.
Oh, that part. Okay.
Apparently leukemia. I had no idea leukemia.
Wow.
And wow, he's been married a lot of times.
Yeah.
Dude's got 6 children. How the hell do you do that?
Oh man,
Like,
you
he's
want to
like-
talk about that sort of thing? I mean, okay, you're
I
talking
don't.
about Adam West. Okay, there's a guy. My landlord's wife popped out 8.
Good God.
What
Well,
happened?
my landlord and his wife have 8 kids.
How?
Okay, what explains a lot is that they are Orthodox Jews, one step below the really crazy Jews. The Jews that try to live the Old Testament literally. Okay,
Amish?
No, Hasidim. One step
okay.
below that.
I don't know. I'm like, it's not Jews, but what I'm picturing is from Monty Python's Meaning of Life. Every sperm is sacred.
Yeah, they were Catholics, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because like they made the comparison of people who are Catholic and people who are Protestant and the different ways they have sex. And in fact, it's very specifically mentioned at one point. I am a Roman Catholic and have been since before I was born. That
Yeah, I remember the discussion going on between he and she. Yeah, we've had sex twice. We have 2 children.
Although that actually wasn't him. That was Eric Idle and Graham Chapman,
Oh, okay.
the ones playing the Protestants.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I have to reply that. Well, if we're going to be talking about Catholics,
I mean,
let's
even
just say I'm glad they didn't go below the belt.
okay.
What?
I don't know. Even
I have no idea what you're trying to mean by that.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
the difference between the Big Bang and nucleosynthesis is like the difference between a Catholic priest and a consenting altar. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let it go.
I'll tell you though, even that little thing with I've had sex. We've had sex twice, and we have 2. Even I have had sex more than twice. Okay. I mean, really. Jesus Christ, Greg, I am so sorry. Yeah, his mother had 9 siblings. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, I've spoken of the somewhat distant cousin in Crystal Ridge. They had 10 kids. She got pregnant again. They said, okay, after this one, we'll stop. It wasn't this one. She had triplets.
Oh, jeepers.
13
Oh, wait, no, you've told that story before.
Yes, I have. 13 fucking kids.
Ugh.
It was like, jeez, man. And by
man,
this
that poor
time,
woman.
I know. I don't know how she lived through it. I really don't. And I don't know how the older kids lived through it, because invariably what happens in situations like that is the older kids become caretakers for the younger kids. and they are parents long before they should really even be thinking about parenting. You might have you might have a 12-year-old being a parent to a newborn, and it's like, Jesus, fuck it, no, don't even.
Yeah, that's just crazy pants. I mean,
But there are
what-
actually some women out there who celebrate this stuff, and it amazing.
Hmm.
You've heard of the quiverful movement?
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it's like having a quiver of arrows in the army of God or something like that. But they allegedly live to have as many children as possible.
Well, you know the Duggars, right?
Oh gods, do I ever know that? What is it?
Because they
21?
have 19
19.
kids now. 19 kids. How the frick do you even afford that many kids? Like, as far as I can tell, the only way they managed to afford it at all is that they had a TV show about them.
The
Yeah,
Duggars.
that's
Yeah.
probably that they were probably financially forced into that in a way. They had to find some way to get the money. Part of it may have been donations from their church, that sort of thing. But it's okay. This is going to sound horrible and heartless and everything, but
Good.
by the time you get to the point where you're having that many kids, just cut them off from aid. Okay, and then have the financial incentive. And I know it won't work, but have the financial incentive to not have any more.
Well,
Or at least the older ones would eat the younger ones. Have a little bit of Jonathan Swift going on here.
right.
All of a sudden, I'm glad I'm an only child.
I think we all are.
Yes.
But
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I do not even want any kids, let alone that many.
Jesus Christ, Harmonica Man says, my mom was oldest of 8. My dad was the youngest of 14. That's minus the 6 half-siblings. I want to know which half. Was it top or bottom? But that's another story.
I don't know. I always kind of didn't want to be an only child. It's lonely, frankly.
Oh, yeah. I
But
get
at
you.
the same time, you always hear about those kids who, like, they don't get along with their siblings ever. So it's like there's two sides to wanting sibs.
Well, I have a cousin who was an only child and got the world given to her, spoiled little thing. Which did nobody any good, really. That's the one with the puppy mill at home.
Okay.
And I kind of soured on her. So I was over the house at one point, and whenever you were walking anywhere, you couldn't look ahead to where you were walking. You had to look down to where you were stepping. There was dog shit everywhere.
Well, it's kind of like that with my cats, except not with shit. Like, Columbia's okay, but Xander, I swear, is a reincarnated kamikaze pilot, the way he jumps in front of my feet. I mean, there was once he ran from behind me, mind you, so this was not my fault. He ran between my feet while I was walking, and I ended up basically bending him in half.
Oh, yeah, I remember you talking about that one. Yeah, that could not have been comfortable for Xander.
And I didn't want to, is the thing.
Yeah.
I really did not want to do that to my kitty, but he left me no choice because I couldn't see him coming. And like, I'm just constantly tripping over him and kicking him without in any way meaning to. He just happens to always have this unerring run towards Kate's feet thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
Frustrating as hell.
With Kathy, she actually had 39 dogs in one house.
Oof.
Puppies all over the place. There were 3 simultaneous litters. And you've got the 2 kitty faces. we can deal with that. But all those, no, it just doesn't work. And why the hell am I smelling Avon face powder from 1962 in here? I have no idea.
I wouldn't be able to identify even contemporary Avon face powder.
Yeah, I heard that giggle. It sounds like somebody knows what that smells like.
Yes. My Granny Winbeck always used Avon face powder. I miss that smell.
It smells
Did
like
you say Lembeck? Because I heard Windex, and I'm sure that was wrong.
Windbeck.
Windbeck. Okay, I thought there was an
Yes.
L there. All right.
To give you an idea of what you're dealing with here, the face powder I have in mind smells like a funeral home.
Yes.
Well, I've never been to one of those.
Oh, with all the floral everything in it. Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
The flowers everywhere, yeah.
What's
Yeah,
a
you know,
funeral
it's
home?
strange how few funerals I've actually been to. Like, I've had relatives die, but I've inevitably been on the wrong side of the country. I've had a few friends die, but like again, wrong side of the country, but also like I've been to exactly one funeral ever, and it was for a member of the goth community who had died in Seattle. So, I mean, I have not been very affected by death. So when people say things like it smells like a funeral home, I'm lost.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the aroma you get out of one of those, it's like a rose garden times 10, and throw in a couple lilacs just for the hell of it. And of course, the whole idea there was this started before you had embalming to keep the body from decomposing right away. So the floral aroma covered the stench of the decomposing flesh. Yeah.
See, I don't ever want to be embalmed. I mean, assuming I ever die, which I intend to prevent as hard as I possibly can, I like the idea of those companies that they have now where they will just basically mulch you and use you for fertilizer.
I like that
I would
idea.
rather be recycled back into the system than made to decompose less, if at all, and be trapped in a box where I fertilize nothing.
Hey,
Yeah.
if it were up to me, I'd rather have my ashes crash into the moon.
Oh, see, I don't want to be, why am I blanking on the word for it? Immolated, cremated. Thank you. There we go. I wouldn't ever want that either, because again, I want to be recycled back into the system. I want to fertilize something.
I at
Yes.
least want to land on another world.
Yeah, but you're not gonna know it. Okay, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Even if I don't know it, I'll be happy.
No, you
Well,
won't.
I can kind of get it. I mean, were I not able, and I still have to do the paperwork. I know. Were I not able to donate my body to medical research, I wish I could be put under my tree. And when I talk about my tree, it's a tree I planted from seed about 60 years ago. So it is truly mine. And I'd like to be put under that tree to feed the trees. But no, I don't think Ohio will let anyone do that. Least of all the people who own the house now.
But the problem with, like, say, donating your body to medical science is, again, they'll probably embalm you. They'll formaldehyde you, whatever they do, so that, like, students can dissect you or some shit. Because I doubt you get to choose how your body is used if you donate to science. Like, I sincerely doubt that.
I certainly hope.
And like I say, I want to be recycled back into the system. I want to fertilize something. I want my remains to be, like I say, like it's the closest you'll ever get to reincarnation is being a plant that used your body as fertilizer.
Okay, I get you there. Yep, I certainly do.
And I mean, I think that if I'm cremated, everything is lost. You know, it's not like those ashes are going to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hoping.
And
I'm hoping I get to make a few suggestions about what happens to my mortal remains. Because, we all know I have a broken brain, and I'd kind of like it if somebody could look at that and learn maybe what went wrong and be able to apply that to somebody in future. Now, I don't know if I can make that suggestion or not, but
Louis C.K. had this great routine where he's talking about like it's great if you decide to donate your body to like medical science or something, but what if you get some medical students who went out partying the other night and they're hungover and so they do a really bad job when they're dissecting your corpse, and the instructor comes by and goes, "No, you idiot," and writes F on your tit. That kind of thing. How pointless would that donation of your body have been? So, like I say, I want to fertilize something.
And then I'm thinking about the Monty Python skit about being adrift at sea in the lifeboat, deciding who they're going to eat.
Oh, right. Yes.
Although, now that I think about it, with you bringing all those points up, would it be possible to have your body be turned into mulch that feeds some plants that is used to fertilize some farmer's field?
So far, so good.
Therefore, you get to fertilize the crops that farmer produces, and you go on to feed somebody else in some other form.
I don't know if they'll let you do that.
Point.
Well, I don't know if they'll let you fertilize a crop field.
Why not?
I don't. Well, people, they can be squeamish and somebody's body fed my plants, and am I going to be consuming their DNA, and I'm going to turn into a chimera, and all this bullshit.
Well, one of the things that I actually really felt, I guess I'll say, impressed by was I was asking some vegans, would you eat meat that had been grown in a vat and never had self-awareness, never had a brain, any of that? And they said yes, because their objection to eating meat is about cruelty to animals. And if there was never like a personality there, a self-awareness there, they're totally okay with it. And I was like, okay, I mean, I don't agree with how preachy vegans can get, but at least their brain is in the right place on this issue, and so if I were to be eating vegetables, fruit, whatever, that had been fertilized by a decomposing human, I'd be okay with it in the same way that vegans are okay with eating vat-grown meat.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Speaking of vat-grown meat, don't we already have something like that called tofu?
No.
That is not meat,
tofu
and you know it.
Is a plant product. I forget exactly how you get it out of the soybeans, but it's a soybean product.
I don't even know. I just know that it tastes like a foam mattress, and I never want to eat it again. I could go the rest of my life and die happy, never again consuming even a scrap of toad food.
What about Boca?
I've never been there.
Would that be Boca Raton, or would that be something else?
Boca, as in the plant-based meat.
I've never had a so-called plant-based meat or a meat substitute or whatever that was actually even good. Never mind resembled the meat that they claimed it was like.
Ooh, the Impossible Whopper.
I actually haven't tried one of those yet, but I had one of those things. What do they call it? It was like near meat or something, and it was like super popular for a couple of months there. And I tried one, and I was like, okay, I mean, it kind of a little bit tastes like beef, but not enough to use it as a substitute.
Yeah, I haven't had the one that comes from Burger King, but when he was here, Jeff took me to a place called Burgatory, and we sampled their Impossible Burgers. Not bad, really.
Have I told you about that time I went to a vegan restaurant with some friends at one of the atheist conventions, and it was the nastiest thing I'd ever tasted?
I think I vaguely remember it. I don't remember the details, but I think I remember
Well-
you speaking of it.
Well, what had happened was, without really thinking about it, I ordered the French toast. Now, of course, French toast use eggs, which are not vegan in any way.
Oh, no.
And so what they substituted for the eggs was bananas.
Oh,
And it was
no.
so gross. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how disgusting it was. So
I don't want to
yeah.
find out either.
Ugh. I like, seriously, that cemented my objection to vegan food right there.
I mean, eggs is good food, okay, guys? It really is. It's delicious, nutritious, filled with hundreds of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. I mean, why do you think so many wildlife eat eggs? For fuck's sake.
Do they?
I know snakes. Many of them make a pretty
Oh yeah,
steady
you're
diet
right.
of
I've
eggs.
seen images. Seen images of snakes, like, jaw impossibly wide, consuming a. Yeah, I've seen that.
And
Yeah.
foxes.
Yes. I mean, there are so many, and it's definitely not that some almighty whatever told them that eggs were good. No, they, kind of figure that out over the ages. Yeah. And
No, I mean, okay, there are a lot of things that people eat that creep me out a little. But then there's other things people eat that don't. Now,
most of what I eat
sometimes-
creeps you out.
sometimes- well, yes. but sometimes I wonder, like, where the line is drawn for some people. Like what will you and won't you eat? Like, for example, okay, if you were presented with, I don't know, ice cream or yogurt or something that was made out of, like, human milk, would you eat it?
I'd try it.
Okay. Okay, here's another one. If we did have, like, vat grown meat and someone decided to vat grow human steaks, would you eat it?
Hey, that sounds interesting.
It does, but would you eat it?
I'd have to think about
I'm
that
not
one for a little
sure.
bit. The reason I'd have to think about it is there not some sort of condition that may or may not be passed on by simply eating human meat? Something about the proteins interacting?
Well, I know there are things that can happen to you if you eat certain parts of humans, like the like some tribe out in the middle of the screaming wilderness was eating human brains and getting wacky ass diseases from it.
This is, I think, what I'm thinking of. Yeah, the one where they lose all coordination and mental decline and all this other shit. Yeah.
Sounds like
I'm
brain
trying to
tumor.
remember, like, there's a disease called
Prions.
Kuru, and I'm not sure if that's it
It's a
or
That
not.
might be it. That might
So-
be it. Let me look.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I think,
that's
is
it.
Kuru the laughing disease? I think Kuru.
Um,
I want to say that's the laughing disease.
I'm not sure. I'm looking it up, but this is the one with the brains and everything. Let me look
The
up.
type of disease is known as a prion.
Yeah, here we go. Kuru is a very rare, incurable, and fatal neurodegenerative disorder that was formerly common among the, I don't know if that's 4 or 4A, people of Papua New Guinea. Kuru is a form of transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. There we go. Caused by the transmission of abnormally folded proteins, which leads to symptoms such as tremors and loss of coordination from neurodegeneration.
Oh, yeah, I see where you're coming from in the second paragraph. Yeah.
But I'm not seeing if this is the laughing disease.
I
Let
am
me look
seeing
that
it in
up.
the second paragraph.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Keep reading.
Redirected from laughing disease. Yes, so I was right about that. I just wasn't sure. Okay. Let's see. Transmission, it says here. Oh, man, they're going. I don't. Oh yeah, it says ingestion. Here we go. Man, it took them paragraphs to get to it. It says here it's because 4A, I don't know how the fuck to pronounce that, men considered consuming human flesh to weaken them in times of conflict or battle, while the women and children were more likely to eat the bodies of the deceased, including the brain. So there we go.
Okay. So, okay, if it's confined to the brain, I mean, if it's a human mad cow disease, okay, I'll try a leg steak. What the hell?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if I would or not. I probably would after some hand wringing, but I don't know.
And it's 4A.
Okay.
No, that's the voice of Rocky.
Actually, it's an expedition.
Ah, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, actually, she was the voice of many characters. I'm amazed.
Okay, who the heck are you talking about anyway?
June Foray, voice actor.
Never heard of her.
She voiced Rocky the Flying Squirrel, Natasha Fatale. Let me see. What the heck else did she voice? She was everywhere.
Well, I still say that the best voice actor of all time is Rob Paulsen.
Okay.
And
Palco se
thankfully,
la
I know
batita.
Rob.
Well, Rob Paulsen, he's the voice of
Good night,
Mako
everybody.
and Pinky, and at least 2 different Ninja Turtles on different Ninja Turtles series and he's, I mean, like, gosh, he has done so much work, and he's amazing at it. And the only way someone will be able to tell that it's him is if you've been a fan since forever, because he has that much range. It's just, there's a few things that he always does where you can go, it's Rob Paulsen, but he's amazing at what he does.
Okay, what I'm seeing over here, some of June Foray's work is what? I mentioned Rocky the Flying Squirrel. I mentioned Natasha Fatale. Nell Fenwick. Cindy Lou Who. Nell Fenwick.
Rewind. Nell Fenwick?
Yeah. The girlfriend of the Mountie in...
Dudley Do Right.
Yes, that's... Tone it down, honey.
You're too excited.
Witch Hazel. Witch Hazel. The witch in some of the Warner Brothers cartoons. The one that would click her heels and run off with the hairpin spinning in midair.
Okay.
Jokey Smurf, whoever the hell that was.
What, you never watched the Smurfs?
No.
Oh gosh.
Okay. You at least know of the existence of the Smurfs.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Magica Dispel. I don't know where her voice would have appeared.
Ooh, that name is really familiar.
DuckTales.
She was a witch character in the Disney cartoons.
DuckTales.
Yeah, I know her from comic books, but that's beside the point.
Anyway, I'm gonna head off. See you guys.
Daproshnia. Sweet dreams.
Oh, her. Okay. And it looks like she was voiced by 2 different people, actually. Because I'm seeing June Foray, but also Catherine Tate.
Okay.
It's just
Daproshnia.
No, not that. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm multitasking at the moment. Because I have been trying to get work done on this laboratory model that I've been making, and I keep getting distracted. And it's mostly my own fault, but still. Like, there's this group of people that I used to be part of. I left by my own choice just because it was getting to be too much work. It was a YouTube thing where we would all like collaborate on stuff. There wasn't like a group collaboration. Everyone would have their own week to put up a new video. Or if I remember right, it was actually everyone had their own day in the week to put up a video. And it was getting to where I just felt like I was running out of topics. I mean, I have a lot to say on various matters, but in this particular case, the expectation was to tackle something like socially relevant, and I just kept blanking on stuff at the time. So I left the group, but because I'm sort of like a legacy member, I was there at the beginning, they invite me to the live streams, right? So there was a almost 4 hour live stream yesterday. And I was on that, but I spent so much time doing it that I really didn't get any work done on this laboratory. So
3 or 4 hours. Geez, you've got some work to do to get up to these live streams.
Still, I mean, the point is that I actually tried to work on it while the live stream was going on, but because the topics we were covering were like heated and fraught, I kind of got really distracted and couldn't keep working.
Moo.
Yeah, I mean, we got into all of those issues that have tended to polarize people these days.
Those are the best.
You know,
yeah.
so I like I say, it was too hard to concentrate on like responding to people and working on CGI.
Moo.
So I had to prioritize. The what we're doing right now is a lot less. I can't find the word for it, but it's easy. It's easier to multitask is my point. I can do multiple things at once in this group.
Well, that's always a good thing.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, there's fewer people. We had at least 6 people at once in that stream.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easier or harder there, easier here.
Oh my, oh my.
Anyway.
And then we got Howard yelling about Smurf porn.
Yeah, I saw only one example of that, and it was plenty.
Yeah.
And given that the vast majority of Smurfs are male, it's a little on the gay side, which is okay if you're gay, but like, well, ew, boys.
Well,
but,
yeah, you and I, we're not gay that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, but Kate, that's homophobic. I'm like, yeah, but I don't like dicks. They're gross. They're icky. I don't want to see that. So you do you. Just leave me out of it.
Oh my. Yeah, there was one place I would go to every now and then for karaoke. It was a gay bar in Lawrenceville. And the main reason I quit going there was they had to have the gay porn running on 4 screens up above the bar. And it was God. No, I don't need this. No.
No, and I have to say, things like that are one of the reasons that like straight, cis, normie type people have this mental image of homosexual culture, LGBT culture, that, I mean, they're just, these people who are showing the gay porn in the bar are just feeding into the preconceived notions that people have about how homosexuality is 100% about sex.
Oh my, but be careful, because we're supposed to like all of it, and we're supposed to be supportive of all of it, no matter how. Yeah, come on and get me. You're always going to do that anyway, guys.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, being supportive and actually liking are 2 completely different things. I mean, I'm completely supportive of people, say, like, I don't know, watching Andromeda. Terrible show. I never want to watch Andromeda again. I watched 2 episodes and said, okay, not only is this a ripoff of Farscape, but it's also really bad. And it's got Kevin Sorbo. Like if that happens to be someone's favorite sci-fi, you do you, pal, but I want nothing to do with it. And I feel the same way about male gay sex.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, I love my gay male friends. I love hanging out with them. I'm totally cool with them being in relationships. I just don't want to see the fucking. That's all.
There you go. I mean, okay, maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, please tell me. You will anyway. But my idea is that, as you said, you know, putting the fucking up to the fore is giving the cisheads and everything else out there the wrong idea about what any of this is.
ammo.
Yes, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, I've started making a very strong point, like a very deliberate point, out of the fact that homosexuality is really about who you love,
Yes,
who you build a life with.
Yes.
Because like every homophobic fucker always focuses on the sex. Like they think that's the only thing that being homosexual has to do with. And I'm like, you know, I'm largely not interested in sex, even for myself. And so when I think about being a lesbian, I think about falling in love.
yes.
And so now, whenever people talk about homosexuality, like I will say, look, you can fall in love with whoever you want to fall in love with, and I try to leave sex 100% out of my arguments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just, what else can you do?
To me, the building a life together and the whole thing has always been far more important than. Well, I won't say always been. I mean, I ruined a marriage by being oversexed many years ago, but that's many years ago. I have changed a little bit since then. But yeah, it's the whole building a life with, the whole falling in love with it. That's important, really.
Mm-hmm.
And besides, there is also this stuff that a lot of people pass over called facultative homosexuality, where, okay, if you're horny and same sex is all that's available, it's, oh, well, I guess so. You know, especially in prisons.
Well, okay, there's this comedian, I think it's Ron White. He's part of the Redneck Comedy Tour, where he was talking about like straight men and the pornography they watch.
Okay.
And he was saying like, okay, when you're watching it, you want the woman with the big knockers, right? And they're going, yeah, that's great. And he goes, and when the guy's having sex with her, you want him to have a fairly normal size or even small dick, right? And they go, no, I want him to have this great, big, huge. Oh, well, there's something I didn't know about myself.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I mean, that's obviously not accurate. I'm sure that what they want is to vicariously put themselves in the position of the guy with the giant Johnson.
Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But still, it was a good joke.
Yeah. I wish I could get my hands on some of the
People,
porn.
yes, we know.
Well, that too. But the porn made explicitly for women a number of years ago that was about the sensuality rather than the sexuality.
Yeah.
But of course, I have not seen, heard, nor felt any porn in a very long time, and I'm really not up for it. You know, it's shut up, all of you out there.
Yeah, I was not gonna go there. I don't know. I have weird mixed feelings about porn, honestly. I don't know. Not really worth discussing, to be honest. I'm not sure how to articulate it, but I have some weird notions about porn.
Okay.
like the appeal of it.
Yeah. Well, for one, sex is not a spectator sport, okay? But that's another story entirely.
Well, let's face it, porn exists for masturbation, and we
Oh,
all know it.
yes, it does. Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's someone out there who just watches porn with a tub of popcorn and that's it. They're just entertained by it. But that's probably the exception rather than the rule.
Well, some of the older porn, you could actually do that. I remember porn with plots.
Oh no, the copier is broken, and here's the repairman, and look at what we're about to do with each other.
No, a little bit more than that. There were actually stories around which the fucking was intertwined, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, you know what's funny to me is like what is the usual go-to for an example of pornography is Debbie Does Dallas, am I right?
Is it? I could see where it would be, but
Yeah, well, I mean, but the reason I bring it up is because by today's standard, now I've never seen it. I've only heard people say this, but by today's standards, it's like extraordinarily mild. You know, and that wouldn't shock me, but I don't know. It's just it's weird that a lot of the time, like if you tell someone name a porno, Debbie Does Dallas will probably come up at least half the time, if not more.
Okay. I wonder how often Behind the Green Door comes up.
I only barely know that title.
I have a fond memory of that one. I mean, at the RGs, the Mensa conventions, early in my tenure in Mensa, one of the things that we used to like to do was somebody would bring a projector and a bunch of 8mm porn reels, or a videotape machine and some videotape porn, and we would sit there and watch it with the popcorn.
Really?
And I remember one scene from Behind the Green Door where there was a trapeze involved and much people, and it was a big orgy scene. And then from the back of the room, one of the people called out, "Well, parts is parts," which was at the time of that chicken commercial, whatever it was, where parts is parts had a prominent role. And everybody burst into laughter. And that was what the whole thing was about. I mean, who cared about the fucking? You got enough of that when you found somebody and then went off to the room, later that evening. Because that's what those conventions were basically for.
Well, my absolutely most favoritist audience heckle of a movie ever was when I went to see Van Helsing. Now, the director of Van Helsing used to be amazing, and then he sort of drove off the Michael Bay cliff, and it was all style over substance, all CGI over substance, which I hated. But the thing is that Van Helsing was one of the worst examples of that. It was such a bad movie. I mean, I talk about movies feeling like someone else watching a video game or playing a video game, and this movie was one of the worst examples of it ever. And like near the end, and I'm gonna spoil it for you, I don't care. Like the main female character died in some tragic fashion, and so like at the end you see her face going off into the clouds, like she's ascending.
No.
And this guy at the back of the room just goes, "Stupid!" And the entire audience just started clapping, because by that point we were all hating this movie so much.
I mean, who the heck would voluntarily do the whole face into the clouds thing? What's the word I'm looking for? Trite.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying this movie was so bad. I mean, I hated it so much. It was what finally soured me on Stephen Sommers. I mean, he used to be such an amazingly good director. Even when he was completely obscure, he made this high school movie that was absolutely brilliant that nobody has heard of unless I tell them about it. And like he made Deep Rising, which was amazingly fun. I mean, you take this action horror movie and you put these like quirky characters in it that are so much fun to watch. It's just and then he fell off the special effects cliff. And by the time he made The Mummy Part 2, I just was like, ugh, dude, what happened to you? And then Van Helsing came out and that was the end of it.
Oh
Yeah.
my, oh my, oh my, oh my. It's been a long time. And I tell you, there's really going to be a long time until I actually go into a motion picture theater to see a film anymore, not with this whole virus thing and everything else. And
There are a couple I was absolutely dying to see, and now I guess I'm waiting for disc or streaming.
probably, yeah.
Although I have to say, the trailer for Bill and Ted 3 looked really bad.
Oops. Oh, well.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it does not look like... It looks like it's going to be one of those sequels that came decades too late to capture the feel of the original.
Okay.
And what the hell is up with Keanu Reeves' voice? All of a sudden, his voice sounds really weird, like he's been smoking 6 packs a day.
Okay. I know that voice.
Well, I mean, seriously, like watch the Bill and Ted trailer and listen to his voice. It's bizarre.
Would one describe it as Kenny Rogers with an extra helping of gravel?
Couldn't help ya. Never really paid attention to Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
But it sounds off. He doesn't sound like Keanu anymore. So I don't know, but like they're bringing back characters that I didn't like in the first place, and it just doesn't look like the Bill and Ted I was raised on. But I was actually really looking forward to the new Top Gun movie, just because I'm willing to accept that it probably will shit all over my nostalgia like everything else has. But as long as the Top Gun anthem is in it and there are some kicking dog fights, I'll be okay with it.
Okay, okay. Oh my.
Like when you set yourself up for disappointment, and so the only thing that can possibly happen is you'll be surprisingly pleased.
Oh, I do that all the time. That is why I sound so pessimistic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, like, that's my attitude. I think that's my attitude, but with a different flavor to what you just said with regard to the Top Gun sequel. Because, like, I'm prepared to be disappointed, but I'm also willing to be quite pleased as well. Like I'm not going into it expecting to hate it, but I am going into it expecting it to not be what I would want if I was making the movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And Stool has
So-
a very profound comment. Tom Cruise
Oh?
is a Smurf.
I still want to know why Tom Cruise has a tooth in the middle of his face. You've noticed that, right?
Yeah, that does
I
happen,
mean-
and I wish I knew why. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, part of the reason I know is because our jaws are much too small for the dentition that is crammed into them.
Have you ever seen images of hyperdontia?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. With
Because wow, is that shit creepy?
teeth everywhere. Mm-hmm.
Mind you, a lot of the imagery out there is completely fake, but not all of it.
Well, my sister had a mild case of that, if you will. She had adult teeth growing in behind her milk teeth, the lower incisors. Yeah, she'd open her mouth and you could actually see it. So she had to have the dental work done to get the lower incisors removed such that the stuff could move forward and everything else. But she needed braces like crazy when she was young.
Well, there's this one image that is unfortunately fake because it looks pretty wacky and I wish it was real. but it's this person where they have teeth covering the roof of their mouth.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so not real, but it'd be kind of cool if it was.
Yeah.
You know, but you can get like other images that are more what hyperdontia really is. For example, like that.
That is what my sister's lower jaw looked like.
Yeah. So, I
mhm.
mean, like, there is real hyperdontia. Unfortunately, the roof of the mouth is not.
Tornado had hyperdontia.
Why does that not surprise me in the least?
Well, he has everything, right?
Well, he had his two front teeth. He had a second set of front teeth.
So all he
Adult
wanted
teeth.
for Christmas, he got.
Yeah, twice.
Pretty much. That's okay. So wait a minute now. Did
Wow,
he have?
reference missed. Okay.
I got it. Yeah, definitely got it.
I got it.
Spike Jones.
Christmas chipmunks.
Well, I see that we have two different sources, but yeah. Now, did he have?
Well, the Chipmunks did do a lot of covers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he have two sets of milk teeth or two sets of adult teeth?
We
or-
don't know.
Had
No,
them
he
removed,
lost
did
his
you?
baby teeth, and then two new teeth grew in, and then he lost those two, and grew. There's another pair of teeth there now.
Almost
Yeah.
sounds to me like two sets of milk teeth. Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm wondering.
Because I think from the original, what do you call it, Dontogenesis or something, the milk teeth are not rooted the way the adult teeth are.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just amused by the term Dontogenesis.
I mean, I don't know that that's the official term, but I just threw it together, with sort of like the Germans
No,
do,
that's right.
Dont as in tooth and Genesis as in,
Well,
yeah.
I'm still trying to get someone to help me out and invent a term for the fear of formal clothing.
You've
Because
not found,
everything I've gotten, every suggestion I've gotten has been kind of awful.
you've
so-
not got anything good with that yet. Darn it. 'Cause
Yeah, I've gotten shitty suggestions, but no genuinely good ones.
I can't think of anything that would fly, really.
I mean, like the best I ever got was vestiformalophobia, which honestly sounds really clunky,
It does.
but it's the best
And-
I've gotten so far.
And what's really fun is it sounds like a portmanteau of Latin, Greek, and English.
Well, it's actually Greek and Latin is what it is.
Okay.
Because I was willing to accept that in ways I haven't been for some other terms, simply because almost every phobia is a mishmash of Greek and Latin.
Of course.
Right? Like the word itself is going to be Latin and the suffix is Greek. I think I might have those two reversed. But like I don't know. I wasn't willing. This is what it is. I wasn't willing to accept that for non-theist versus atheist, because a lot of people have been advocating that they are not an atheist; they're a non-theist.
Oh my
But all that
God!
does-
Yes.
All that does is take like the what is it, Greek or Latin prefix and changing it to the other one without changing the main word.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there thinking that's just you're making a distinction without a difference, basically.
Ozymandias Ramses II and I used to go back and forth over that one. Yeah, he wanted non-theist as opposed to atheist. And
And my suggestion has always been add like adjectives to specify what kind of atheist you are, but for some reason that's unacceptable to the people who want to say they're non-theists.
Well, these are the people, mostly in my experience anyway, who want atheist to mean claiming that there are no gods. They want atheist to be a positive claim rather than, the way I see it is an umbrella term, really, to include.
Yeah, oh, me too.
To include the negative statement that when you say there is a God, I say I don't believe you. That is not the only positive claim I'm making there is my lack of belief in what you just stated.
Yeah. I mean, I am atheistic. I do not have theism. I do not have God belief. And so I am an atheist. And, I kept getting into that with Steve McFucking Cray.
Oh, Lord.
Because he takes this like strict, like scholarly philosophical approach to atheism.
Yes.
And to philosophy even. And I'm like, yeah, but most people aren't gearing up for a formal debate. They just want to be understood.
Yeah.
And I was like, the definition you're insisting on, dude, is it's not inclusive enough. There is no way for me to describe my position on the matter using the language upon which he insists. It's just not possible.
Mm-hmm. No,
and he doesn't care, because he cares more about being right than about communicating. He cares more about winning a debate than he does about coming to a consensus, and that's the problem.
Yeah. Now, I am one of those people who makes the claim there are no gods. It's not a 100% claim, but it's like 99 and 44 100%, because in my mind, most of the claims there are gods don't make sense. They contradict themselves eventually.
Well, I mean, that's kind of... I will not say there are no gods. I will say, of the gods that have been presented to me, none of them have passed the sniff test. Right?
Right.
I am holding open the possibility that someone somewhere someday might prove that a God exists, but so far no one has managed it, and so far almost every God that has been posited has been completely unrealistic, impossible, cannot exist. Just can't.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like we have too much contradictory evidence for the claims made by the believers.
Yes.
So there's that. But again, like there is even the possibility that the Christian God exists, but all the legends and descriptions of this God are completely fucking wrong. Like you point to the flood. The flood never happened. Like
we know this, yes.
That's a done deal. The flood could not have happened. But what if it turns out that the story of the flood is wrong, but there is a God anyway? I'm willing to accept evidence that shows that a God could, like the Christian God, exists, just not as described in the Bible. But again, my skepticism, my doubt, my refusal to believe it comes from the fact that nobody has presented that data to show that this God is real.
Yeah, and then where my tires go flat is the only way I know of this God is by its presentation in that anthology called the Bible. So if that's not flying, the God doesn't fly either, because that's the only place I know of it coming from. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if I was presented with a clearly magical being, I would start going, okay, let's see what this is actually about.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one that really steams me is the Frank Turek and William Lane Craig thing. Both of them describe their God as spaceless, timeless, and immaterial. And I already answered somebody yesterday or the day before, you just stepped on your crank, buddy, because if it's spaceless, timeless, and immaterial, it doesn't exist within this universe. So there's no way you can get to it. There's no way it can get to you. So even if it did exist, it might as well not.
Well, and the one that completely knocks me out are the people who say, do you know everything in the universe? Do you have knowledge of absolutely the entire universe? And if not, then how do you know a God isn't in there somewhere? And I say to them, look, you believe in the Christian God, and that God does not, well, like, for you to know that God exists, you would have had to hear the story at some point. You know, you can't just say, oh, well, that God's out there in the universe somewhere. Well, allegedly that God interacted with our world quite a great deal. So,
and there's...
So I don't have to know everything in the universe to be able to point at your claims and say they're bullshit.
Yeah, and I don't know everything there is to know, but I know that pigs don't fly. I mean, there are some things
if
you
you give them a pilot license and a plane, anyway.
As you say, you
and
don't
what
need
about
to know
all those
everything.
cops who are like helicopter cops? You know, those pigs fly.
Yes, that is true. That is very true. Oh, my word. We need some resolution on that. We're never going to get it, are we? The whole cops...
Sorry, on that?
Yeah, the whole cops being pigs thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. There were a couple of expressions surrounding cops that I'd love to understand a bit better. Like, what the hell does it mean to cheese it? Or rather, I know what it means to cheese it, but why is that an expression?
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. And the other one I don't know is where the term fuzz came to mean cop.
I suspect, and I'm probably wrong, but I suspect it has something to do with the sound of their CB radios.
Ah, okay.
You know, it's like, they're like, you know, in pursuit, over. That static sound might be the fuzz, but I could be wrong about that one.
That would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, but the whole cops behaving like pigs recently here in Pittsburgh, there was a small altercation where, as far as I understand it, nobody was doing anything to anyone, nobody was misbehaving or whatever it is, but you had about 20 riot cops surround these people and make it clear that they were not pleased with them. Why? I don't get that one. I'd like to know more about what happened, because I know that no story ever presented is complete.
Yeah. Oh, man, don't even get me started on people hearing one side of a story and assuming that's all of it.
Yes, yeah, as blech and stuff.
And there are times it's really difficult to not just turn completely misanthropic.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I love mankind. It's people I can't stand.
I'm not sure I agree. I think I'm the reversed on that one. Because there are individuals I adore like you wouldn't believe, but mankind, the more people there are in a group, the stupider they get.
Okay, yeah. I hear you.
So, I mean, I'm not sure I can agree that it's mankind that's valuable.
Well,
I'm just saying.
That was a single panel Charles Schultz thing that Linus was sitting there with his blanket saying that.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not sure how I feel about that comic strip. There are times I suspect it might go in places that I disapprove of. I've seen a lot of, and this may be just other people reworking it, but I've seen a lot of religious Peanuts stuff.
Oh, yeah, they love to do that. Absolutely. And no, I don't like using the Peanuts for the religion. Well, I don't like using anything for the religion, really. I don't like religion. I guess that makes me an anti-theist, and I will wear the label gladly.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like I could actually be pretty tolerant about religion if the people who are religious could keep it in their pants. You know, if they could just like not wave it around in our faces all the time.
Well, how many
You know what I mean?
religions?
Not try to use it to pummel us over the head with it.
Well, how many religions are there that are like that, though? I think the only one I can drag up right offhand is Zoroastrianism, and that's dying because they don't proselytize.
I see. Sorry, I thought you were saying how many religions are like the ones that pound us over the head with themselves.
No, almost all of them do. Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, but sorry, you left the that undefined is
Gotcha.
the problem. Like I don't know. I think it's okay if religions want to advertise themselves. It's the interference I object to.
Yeah.
You know, leave people alone, will ya? It's not so tough.
I mean,
although, also speaking of comic strips and religion, I remember for a while there, I got into reading Archie. And all of that stuff. This was back in the 80s. Now, you could find these in the drugstore. They would have a rack of magazines and they had the comics. And it took me a while to realize that the ones with the little spire logo up in the corner were going to preach at you at some point, right? But you could also buy the double digests, which weren't produced by the Spire people, and then those would remain completely secular. But there were times I would just go out and buy an Archie and go, where the hell is this religious preaching coming from? I didn't ask for this, And then I started to notice the logo and the difference and stopped buying the Spire version of Archie.
Okay, then. I wonder how they handled that as far as, copyright and royalties and whatever. I'm assuming there were two different publishers.
This is the sort of thing that could be figured out.
Or was it one division, two divisions of a single publisher? It's another story there.
Okay, I'm trying to. Here we go. Archie's Comics franchise, and I'm trying to see here because I'm not. Oh well, no, that's probably not it. Wow, apparently there was a Broadway show? Huh.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Archie. Let me just search.
There's been a Broadway show of just about everything.
Here we go. In the 1970s and 80s, Spire Christian Comics, a line of comic books, blah, 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 obtained license to feature the Archie characters in several of its titles. So I don't see anything about how they got that, though, like how people said, okay, here, have the license. But it says here that these comics used Archie and his friends to tell stories with strong Christian themes and morals, sometimes including or incorporating Bible scripture. In at least one instance, the regular characters meet a Christ-like figure, I can't fucking speak today, on the beach, and listen as he gently preaches Christian values. Yeah. So I had to sort through the Spire versus the regular stuff.
Eek. I will say, though, that I will forever treasure the chick tract that was stuffed into the door of my car when I was at the SIU campus watching the solar eclipse. There was somebody that was going up and down the parking lot, shoving the chick tracts into the doors, and it was like, oh wow, look at this! Yeah, everybody's, what are you doing? I actually have a chick tract. Yay!
You know what I completely don't understand is why Archie wanted Veronica. I mean, Betty was so much awesomer.
Yes, absolutely. Veronica
You know,
was a
she was ever
stuck-up,
so slightly
spoiled bitch.
tomboyish without being unfeminine, and she was practical, down to earth. She's cute,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why go after the only thing Veronica has is money. Otherwise, she's like a pretentious, self-centered little bitch. Why would anyone want her? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Really, I don't.
Oh well, what you gonna do?
Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna head off. I need to make crab ragoon.
Das
Okay.
betrasta.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Ishtilly
it's and skitty and woot and bot and whatever.
That's not it.
I know it's not, but
Mm.
I can't say it the way you say it. So,
Wow.
bye bye. You all
Take
have a
care,
good day.
honey. Have a
I'll
good
talk
have a
Great
good
to you
heart.
ride.
Tuesday.
Yay.
Catch you like the
Have
plague.
fun. Enjoy your evenings,
I
guys.
probably won't have a
Mhm.
topic in mind for Tuesday either, but you know what? I never do.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
okay. We'll still
Well,
chat.
and
So.
when there's topics, we stick with them for like 5 seconds anyway.
Right.
so.
Yes, that is true.
Exactly.
That is absolutely true.
See ya.
Take care,
Later.
honey. Oh my.
But yeah. Okay, what the hell was 5? Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the materials and textures for my animation shit, so except those should be 1. All right. Set ID.
What is this
1.
color?
No, not that. Oh, shit balls.
What is this? Paint by number?
No, it's just that when you assign materials and textures to an object, you have to do it by material ID for each polygon. Otherwise, it's going to like just be one single uniform color.
Okay then.
So
You know,
I don't know. It's complicated. It's easier. This is one of those things where it's easier to show it to you than to explain it. You know, visual aids, which is a horrible, horrible affliction of the immune system.
Oh my word.
Sorry, that was a bad joke.
You can still get paint by numbers kits.
That doesn't shock me.
That's
Okay.
that's a very, very nice thing. I like. Oh my God, some of the
Is
stuff,
it?
some of the stuff you can get is looking pretty damn good. I wish
But
I could. I
what's
wish.
the appeal, really?
Well, that I did this, and I know it's
Okay.
not. You didn't do the actual painting the way, say, Van Gogh would, but you actually produced a little something. It's a step down from Bob Ross.
Okay, but what's the appeal?
You hang it on your wall and you look at it.
Okay, but what's the appeal?
That's about it. I mean, you think it looks nice. I mean, it's the same sort of thing where if I ever get around to it, I'll finish my counted cross stitch piece and I will hang it on the wall and I'll look at it, and it's kind of pretty. But if I ever finish it,
I don't know. I look at a paint by numbers thing and I'm like, okay, someone did all the hard work for me. Because I mean, that's, to me, one of the reasons I do CGI is because I'm shit at drawing perspective. And so, like, if someone else made the picture and all I'm doing is coloring it in, whoop-a-da. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Oh my!
It's like it's just not that brilliant to me.
This paint by numbers Starry Night doesn't look too terribly bad, really. I mean, it's got that classic paint by numbers feel to it, where all the colors have definite boundaries and there's no shading or anything like that. But Van Gogh wasn't known for that sort of thing anyway.
think I'm gonna start calling him Van Flem.
There you go.
I don't know.
There
I
you
would
go.
rather just stick with the more traditional Van Gogh. It's easier to say. You don't need a pint of phlegm in your throat to say it.
Yeah,
You know, I
indeed.
mean, Van Gogh might as well be Klingon.
Oh, yay.
And I mean, I'm not even kidding about that. So
No,
much
you-
of Klingon has that vocal fry thing going on, the Yiddish phlegm in your throat thing going on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh boy. Custom paint by number kits for adults. It almost.
What does that even mean?
I'm trying to figure out if it's what I think it might be.
I mean, just because I'm thinking a custom paint by numbers, isn't that just a blank canvas?
What I'm wondering, and I don't see anything on this page about it being that or something. But wait a minute. Upload your photo. We will take care of the rest. That's what I thought it was. So you send them a photograph and they turn it into a paint by number.
Well, but I mean, if I want a photograph that looks like a painting, that's what Photoshop is for. I can do it in like 5 minutes, and that counts the time it takes to load up Photoshop. So, I mean, and I would rather do one of those things where you send people like photos of yourself, you know, front, side, and 45 degrees, and they make an action figure out of you.
Oh my. I don't think I've seen one
You know,
of those.
or a statuette or something. That's totally a thing.
A hollow statue. Okay.
So let me see here. Well, I'd have to dig further, but yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, when I'm looking at the images that are flashing by on this thing, the areas devoted to each of the colors are quite small. My word, this has got to be something to work on. Yeah, because the photos of the completed paintings, they don't have that feel where the colors have definite boundaries. And then I'm looking at the next thing that they flash over here and the areas that are numbered. God, they're tiny. Must drive somebody crazy to do these.
Okay. I
I'd have-
guess. Well, you know, whatever floats your ducky, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd have a
I
hard,
don't see the appeal of it. I really don't.
I'd have a hard time with this because it takes so much coordination, fine motor control.
I don't know. I wonder. I might be able to do it. I don't know. I haven't tried.
And it looks like they mix the paints custom as well. Oh my. This is starting to make my ears hurt.
I think the closest I've gotten to a paint by numbers thing is when I used to paint miniatures, like D&D miniatures and that kind of thing, Warhammer miniatures. I never used them to like play the game. I just enjoyed the painting of them and also the social aspect because a lot of my friends got into it. And we would hang out at quarterstaff games and make stuff, you know, and and we would chat while we were doing it.
Okay,
And
that sounds, yeah.
that's how I ended up in a lot of things, is just the social aspect.
Sounds like a shitload of fun.
Yeah. Oh, I just recently left a debate group on Facebook, largely for a reason mentioned in the alt-right playbook, was it was starting to become a haven for right-wing extremists.
Oops.
You know, like there was this one dude who could not stop posting anti-left shit. And it wasn't just differences of opinion kind of stuff. It was, my, aren't they stupid? You know, and there was always a snide vibe to the way that he would present it. It was always like, checkmate, lefties, and all that shit. And I was like, sorry, no, I'm not, you know, and it got to the point where it was so chronic that I basically said on the group, I was like, I'm out of here. And also note the gray around my name. I'm not sticking around to watch your drama going, oh, you didn't look at the little diaper baby running away. You know, you won't have that opportunity because I won't be there to see it. You can make fun of me all you like behind my back. I don't give a shit.
Okay, then.
But, you know, if you're going to do it just to do it, you're not like, you did.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get it totally.
You know, it won't affect me at all, so you can save your insults.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was so frustrating. It looked exactly like that part of the alt-right playbook called How to Radicalize a Normie, where they got the guy, what was his name? Not Kyle, I forget, Gabe. That was it. Where he was feeling left out of society and all this stuff, so he finds an anime group. Partly for the anime, but mostly for the community.
Yes.
And that's when the alt-right would swoop in and start throwing in little right-wing tidbits. And of course, Gabe sticks around because he likes the community. And slowly over time, he starts to sort of digest the right-wing talking points because, like, he doesn't know how to leave the community and still find that connection he was looking for, that emotional connection he was looking for. And it felt like that's what was starting to happen in this group I was in. And I suppose I could have stuck around to try to fight against it, but I just didn't have the energy and said, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, and the other problem you have with trying to fight against that stuff is that you never run into a position where there's one person doing this thing. This person always seems to have reinforcements. And
actually, in this case, it seemed to be just one guy. But
okay, that would have been a lot better than I've seen in a lot of places. Yeah.
But the problem was he was posting constantly. Like every post out of this fucker was some right-wing talking point that was not, here's an alternative idea. You know, it was, look at how stupid you people are when you disagree with me.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and I only reached that point after someone is ignoring my arguments as hard as they possibly can. And even then, like, I'm much more flexible on ignoring individual points if my core thesis is respected, you know, or is addressed, rather, as if it's not automatically invalid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm actually this close to unfriending somebody on Facebook just because no matter how hard I try, he addresses individual points as if they're my entire argument. And I'm like, you have to put them together to see the whole. Otherwise, it like the message is lost.
Mm.
You know, I mean, the argument we're having is about why third parties don't win. And I'm saying that the reason third parties don't win is because people think third parties don't win, and so they don't vote for them. And thus third parties don't win, so they think third parties can't win. Lather, rinse, repeat. Right?
Okay.
But he will not address that. He will cheerfully address, like, the individual points. Well, people don't get out to vote for third parties because this, that, or the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, but how does that feed into that feedback loop of, well, I'm not going to vote for it's like a lot of people are holding out to vote for a third party until they're sure it's going to win, which will never happen.
Right.
Until you help it win. But this argument kept bouncing right off his well-armored cranium. And it got to a point where I was like, you know, even if you ever make a valid point, I'm too pissed off with you to listen to it because you kept invalidating mine.
Mm-hmm. Interesting what Stool has to say here. He says, I have 2 screenshots from the alt-right playbook that I like to use. I sent them to the radio presenter I was listening to last night because he didn't realize what the caller was doing. Good.
What was the caller doing?
Well, what I'm getting out of this is it almost sounds like the caller may have been trying to radicalize or send a radical message.
But maybe we've got that backward though. Maybe it's the presenter. So I don't know. I need context.
Would you go into would you go into a little more detail as to who was doing what to whom and for how much?
Yeah. But I don't know. I just a lot of the frustration I get, like I will cheerfully listen to someone else's argument, provided that it wasn't pulling teeth to get them to address my argument on my terms. You know, like a lot of the time people will find persnickety little ways where like it's letter of the law versus spirit, you know, where they'll look at the letter of what I said without actually addressing the message behind it.
Okay.
And that, for my money, is just fucking unforgivable. You know, at that point, if we go back and forth on that too many times, then once they've finally acknowledged my point, I'm too pissed off with them to listen to theirs.
Uh-huh. Okay, now what he says here is the caller was using the dummy words and the euphemisms.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. It's like I wish I could convince more people to watch the alt-right playbook.
Well, I am so happy that you mentioned it to me, because that was a very, very informative series. And
I'm not even sure how I found it anymore.
Okay, do I have it correct that there's been another video made since you told me about it?
There've actually been a couple, but the last one, the dude who makes it, he was like, look, I'm kind of worn down by the pandemic, so like production values might suffer.
Well,
but please bear with me, was sort of what he was saying.
Well, what I'm after is, okay, there's something I haven't seen yet, so I've got to go back and see it.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's put it this way. I don't know what you've seen yet. So.
When did you tell me about the, it was 2 or 3 months ago? It was before the pandemic.
Well, there's been something since then, yes.
Yeah, I watched the entire playlist as of the time you told me about it. I mean, within a week of you telling me about it. So it might have been January, February, something like that. So yeah, if
there's definitely been a video or 3 since then. So definitely.
There's stuff I've got to watch then. Yeah, okay. We can do this.
But I don't know. It was really difficult in a way to binge watch all of it in a single go, which is what I did when I first discovered it. It was emotionally draining. Honestly, it was. And I know to some people that might sound snowflakey, but I don't care. It was like, oh shit, look at what's going on here. And it was just hard to watch. It was kind of like there's this documentary I watched recently on Netflix called it's either The 13th or just 13th, I'm not sure, but it goes into a fair amount of detail about the systemic racism against Black people. It gets into the drug war and how that was the other thing. And I watched all of it. And by the end, I was just so worn out, like I jogged 5 miles. It was that hard to watch. And I think everyone should watch it, but it was still hard.
Yeah. so much.
Oh, and to bring
goodness.
us full circle, it was recommended to a bunch of people by my favorite voice actor, Rob Paulson.
Okay, then.
So, yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
my.
it's funny. I don't know if like you probably didn't see it because I posted it on Facebook. But there was sort of like a pondering, a mental question I was asking myself and decided to post it publicly. Why can't I speak today? But it was basically like we look at these people in history or even now who seem to be constantly held up as wise people. And I was wondering, what are they like in their day-to-day lives, and what are they like in their own heads? Like, here's the entry. It's I said, have you ever wondered what it's like inside someone's head? Are there thoughts like your own? Because what I'm trying to picture right now is what it's like to be one of those people who seem to be full of sage wisdom, like a philosopher or guru or some shit. Because it's hard to picture those people just being people with day-to-day lives. Like, imagine Gandhi complaining he's bored, or Martin Luther King with the Meow Mix jingle stuck in his head. Imagine inviting Michelangelo over for a game of Pictionary, or Shakespeare being at the pub having a pint. Because some people, just the way they're presented to us, don't seem ordinary. We're too removed from them. Our exposure to them is when they're on, seeing only their public persona. We don't see them having a meal or getting their oil changed or dropping a deuce on the can. What are these people like when they're ordinary? And you know, it's hard to picture. So, and now I
Really?
forget why I brought it up.
Yeah, esse é mais not too knowing on for to that. I lost it too. Yeah. It just went.
Yeah. But I don't know. Oh, also in that live stream I was talking about yesterday, do you know who Brock Lawley is?
Does not sound familiar, no.
He's been around since forever, and he's like a right-wing theist guy. And
Lord.
In the chat, he posted something, and his online name is Ask a Conservative. And so we were calling him out for conservative talking points, and he replied by saying, I'm not a conservative, with the name Ask a Conservative in the chat.
Eek.
Like here's his username, and then here's what he said. And it's like he totally burned himself.
Jesus. Ah!
You know, and he tried to say, well, that's an old username, that's an old online nickname kind of thing. And we're like, well, why haven't you changed it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, his excuse fell flat.
Moo. It's just definitely moo. That's all it is.
But yeah, so, and you asked about like the group, you know, that did this live stream, and there you go. That's a lot of us who've been involved in it over the years.
The one you had shown where there were 6 of you in the picture?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's the group.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway.
Anyway, yes. Oh, my word.
What the hell? What just happened there? I don't know. My animation software is being weirdly temperamental. There's like certain visual effects that sometimes work and sometimes don't. And it seems to be a function of whether I'm in camera mode or perspective mode. I can't tell, though, because it seems erratic. Like it's consistently working fine in camera mode, but in perspective mode, not so much. Like that's when it gets inconsistent, and I don't know what the problem is.
It is broken into little pieces. No?
I don't know.
Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
I hate to say it. It's almost noon and I'm getting hungry. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be something for each of us to do, is get to stuff our respective
Yeah.
food
I'm-
holes.
I might make another one of those stir fries that I like to do. The lemon pepper stir fries have been coming out really, really good.
Oh, yay. Yeah, I saw you talking with Ciara about the lemon pepper. And, yeah, introducing somebody else to lemon pepper is always a good thing.
Who's Ciara?
She's the Twitter person with Space Monkey is her Twitter handle.
See, that's what you should have led with, because that's how I know people, is by their names, like their screen names.
Oh, okay. Because you know the way on Twitter you have the name and then you have the handle or whatever you want to call that. Yeah, her name is Ciara. Her handle is Space Monkey. She's the.
I actually really hate calling it a handle. We're not truckers.
Yeah, I know. But
I don't know.
yeah, it sounds like she really got interested in the lemon pepper when you started talking about it.
Well, I was surprised by how many people were boggled by the concept of lemon pepper. Like they'd never heard of it. And I mean, it's one thing to not cook with it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's another thing to have never heard of it. Like, I mean, because I'm used to like not knowing what the hell turmeric and rosemary actually taste like. But I know their ingredients. I know their spices. You know, so
Okay.
to not know what the hell lemon pepper is was weird to me. It was. I mean, it's kind of as weird as when I mention a rather well-known sci-fi series and it boggles you.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, because lemon pepper I've known about for years. What I want to do is find lemon pepper that doesn't cake in the container.
What are you doing to your containers? I've never had that happen.
It's sitting in my spice cabinet above the range, and I have to pound on the bottom in order to dislodge the lemon pepper and get it granularizing, or whatever you want to call it.
But what are you doing to the container that might make it cake or clump or whatever it's doing?
Other than leaving it in the cabinet, I don't know.
Well, here's a question. When you're like applying it like that, is it over something that's steaming?
Well, no, it's not over the. In other words, if were I to take the container down right now, no cooking going on or anything, and I would turn it upside down, the lemon pepper would not move.
Okay, rewind. Pretend it's a brand ass new container of lemon pepper. So it should not be at all clumpy in any way. You pop it open and you start to apply it to whatever you're cooking.
Okay.
What is the actual method of applying it? How are you holding the container? Where is it over the pot or pan? How you doing that?
Most often, I mean, sometimes I'll sprinkle it over the stuff, but most often I will sprinkle it into my hand, and then when I have enough in my hand, it's okay. And then, sprinkle.
Well, that seems bizarre. I have no idea why your lemon pepper is clumping. Either you need to buy a new brand or you're doing something you're not mentioning.
I'm thinking maybe it's the really cheap stuff that you get at the dollar store.
Well, that's not even necessarily the problem. I mean, I've had a lot of like generic or store brand stuff that was better quality than the name brand stuff. You know, again, it might just be that you need to change up the brand regardless of how much it costs.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. I've had this stuff for a good long time, and maybe it's just hygroscopic and it's picking up moisture from the air or something. I don't know. The other thing I've been
So wait. So this is a very old container of lemon pepper?
I've had it for a while. I've had it for at least a year.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem.
And the other thing I'm tempted to do is mix up my own lemon pepper. You know, you have the pepper and you have the lemon zest, and you put the two of them in, and you do that.
See, I'm not even 100% certain what lemon zest is.
Oh!
Like, I know zest the soap, I know zest the feeling, but zest the food, not so much.
Okay, that's easy. That is the yellow outer portion of the lemon rind.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you run it over a grater, and then you grate that stuff. You know, when you start getting into the white area, you quit grating, and that yellow stuff, that's the lemon zest. Yeah.
I never in a million years would have thought to call it that. If someone said, "Here, name this part of the lemon," I would probably have just said peel, rind, I don't know. Like, no part of me would have said, "Ooh, zest. That's the name." It would not have been. It wouldn't have ever occurred to me in the tiniest fraction of a second.
Oh, okay. I've always known it as lemon zest. I think that's the way I discovered it, was by seeing lemon zest in a recipe and then being told, yeah, that's what that is. Or reading that that's what that is, or some shit like that. But
I don't know. Sometimes the way people name things boggles me. Like I don't know. There have been a lot of things that have been named in ways I never in a million years would have done myself. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. It's not coming to me. I'm a little distracted, but there have definitely been times where I'm like, why would you name it that? Like, I'm trying to think. There was like a vegetable or something that used the name of another vegetable in its own name, and they were completely 100% unrelated in every possible way.
I know of at least one of those, yes.
Do you remember the name of it?
A Jerusalem artichoke has absolutely nothing to do with the artichoke, the one that's green in the leaves.
First I've ever heard of that one, but okay.
Yeah, it's a tuber like ginger, but it is used like a potato, but it looks like ginger.
Okay. Well, regardless, that's I don't know. If I was in charge, the world would be very different.
Well, I can imagine. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my, the side chat is quite quiet.
How many people are still watching our dumb butts?
Allegedly, we've got 7 people watching. Now, whether that counts you and me, I don't know. I think it does.
I don't have the window open. I only have the chat open, so not me.
Yeah, I don't know if it counts you if you only have the chat open. I'm watching with the window
No, we ran
open.
an experiment once and it doesn't.
Oh, that's right. Yes. That's right.
So, I don't know.
I am just totally nonplussed. I'm amazed that there are actually 6 people besides myself who are actually interested. Well, okay.
Yeah, well,
they're here
I
to
don't
see
get it, 'cause
you.
we talk a lot of shite, and I can't believe people want to listen to the like random ass blather that comes out of us.
I don't know. There has been an occasional live stream with the random ass blather, and I've kind of liked listening to it simply because it's random ass blather. It sounded like sitting around a table, having nachos and drinking beers and talking about shit you know nothing about.
But other people want to watch it, and that's like I could not just sit down to other people having a conversation that's like a stream of consciousness ramble the way we do it, and just being entertained by it. I don't get it. It's like I love being in live streams because I'm participating in real time, but people watch that even when it's not like an interview or something. They watch it, and I don't understand. I really don't. It would frustrate the hell out of me. I mean, I'm glad you guys are entertained, but I don't understand why.
De gustibus non est disputandum, I guess.
Sure, what you just said.
In taste, there is no dispute. Yeah.
Well, that's not true. Some people listen to country music and opera.
Oh my! I'll tell you, the country music I'm not so cool about. So much of it is so misogynistic, and of course you've got all the Jesus going on in there too.
See,
it's like,
and I don't even care about any of that part. It's just ugly music. I don't like the sound of it.
Okay.
I don't like the way country music sounds. I think it's ugly. And I don't have any other word for it. I wish I did, but I don't know.
And I rather like bluegrass, but that's as far as I'll go.
I've only ever tried like the green grass. Is bluegrass sativa or indica?
Let me see. I think it's yet another one. I'm not exactly sure which variety it is. It might be. Oh, I know. It's the rope the guy was smoking in that one song. What the heck was it? It was mostly a spoken word thing where he's aboard ship and he's smoking a rope, and it's a hemp rope. So I wish I could remember what it was called.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But, okay, speaking of ropes and bringing us back to the football discussion, in the game, this game, sometimes like they have announcers in there, and they have a very limited amount of stuff they'll say, but one of the things they'll say after a certain like throwing play is that was a classic frozen rope right there. I don't know what the frick that means even slightly.
Oh,
a
my
frozen
word.
rope?
A frozen rope. No.
It sounds to me more like a nickname for a player.
Okay.
Oh, what a play by Frozen Rope. Can you believe it? This is the third fill-in sports term he's had this season. That's what it sounds like.
Oh my, you talk about the nicknames. I remember some of them. You had the refrigerator. And
oh, right, Refrigerator Perry. I remember him. But the only reason I remember him is because they made a G.I. Joe action figure out of him.
Oh, jeez, all right. And I'm trying to remember,
Yeah.
Did he have a relative who called himself Ice Cube? Not the rapper?
Well, then I don't know.
I don't know for you. I could be full of shit. I usually am.
Well, a little Metamucil should clear that up. But, I seem to remember, like long time ago, we're talking late 90s here, me and Kylie had some friends who lived in our building named Chris and Nikki. And for some reason, Nikki was into football. And despite being in Seattle, she liked the Rams more than the Seahawks. And it was because of that I know a few players' names that I otherwise wouldn't. Like,
Okay.
What was it? Archuleta? I cannot remember his first name. And Kim Herring was another one. But I know that Archuleta was one of them.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay, then. Excuse me. Oh, my word. I'm looking for... I got directed here, and I can't find it in the middle of... Control F. Gerald McNeil. The lightest player in the NFL, McNeil, was nicknamed the Ice Cube because he was small and difficult for tacklers to grab hold of.
Huh. Okay.
Drafted in 1984. Let's see, who did he play for? Houston. Okay, he played for the Houston Gamblers, whoever the fuck that was. Then he played for the Browns for 4 years, and then the Oilers.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Gamblers is minor league.
It is a link. Let's find out. An American football team that competed in the USFL.
So what's that?
That short-lived alternative football league, the United States Football League. It lasted for about 2 years in the mid-'80s.
Never heard of it.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember if this was the one that played on a half field.
Boy, what went through my head just now?
No,
it's not. No, it was in no way prurient. I'll promise you that much. No, what playing on a half field, football power. Anyway.
Alrighty. Yeah, there was one.
I don't know if you do recognize that. Yes.
I'm not sure.
Heroes on a half shell, turtle power.
Oh no, I don't know that one. No, the Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
No. No, there was one that had only one end zone. And I forget how the rules worked with that one. I think it was an indoor thing.
Huh.
It lasted about 2 weeks. But, what can I tell you?
You know what they really need to bring back is American Gladiators.
Oh, jeez, I know that one, yes.
Yeah. I mean, that looked like a sport out of a bad 1980s dystopia movie.
I'm trying to remember.
It looked vaguely rollerball-ish, actually, which I think was 70s. But whatever, it had that look to it.
Did some of those people get pretty well destroyed physically while they were doing that stuff? The American Gladiators.
I don't know. I don't know anything beyond what the show looked like.
Okay. For the heck of it.
So.
American Gladiators. Injuries. See if there's anything in here. Okay, and this thing, it sounds like a piece from an article, and the line that shows up in the Google list, the injuries started mounting up. We needed more gladiators. So, oh my word, wait a minute. On the Google search page. Oh, okay. It isn't what I thought it was. The question was which American gladiators died. And it said American Gladiator star Lee Rariman, 49, found dead in his California home. Okay, the first thing I thought was that he died on set, but no. Okay. Get this the heck out of here. I don't need that search bar anymore. And yes, little one, what do you want? I know what you want. Yeah, you want cuddles. Kitty wants cuddles. How long did American Gladiators last? 7 seasons. How much do they get paid? Top prize was 10 grand. Moo. Many much moo. then?
I'm so sick and tired of people being idiots on the internet, but what can you do?
That is a job description, isn't it?
I suppose, but ugh, I still say there are some people we're better off without.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Wait a minute, it just. Oh, fuck. Okay, when was the last time this one was.
I just heard a slight mew.
Yes, somebody is wanting attention. Okay, has the Ark been found by Tim Chaffee on 19 August 2016? I wonder how many times AIG has recycled that baby. Because all they do anymore is. I don't think I've seen any of their articles from a current year for quite a while. And what was. Oh, don't do that. Damn it. Okay. Da Prozhnie. Over here is the Arkman. Ah. So the majority. Okay, this one. So the majority of millennials, of whom over a third are under 30, were formerly churched. What happened? I don't know. They got smart? Maybe?
Well, I mean, I'm sure what happened was, yeah, people started seeing behind the curtain at the shit that was going on. But I think another part of it is just we live in an age where ignorance cannot be maintained, where the people who rely on us not examining the world expected that to keep going. And they were wrong about that. The internet makes it impossible to keep people in the dark, assuming they have access to it. And so when religious people make claims that can be debunked, they get debunked, and people start like deciding to not play the game anymore. You know?
Yeah, and that's got to be the main reason that these two-bit apologists flood the networks with their crap, trying to put so much of it out there that that's all people see. I wonder how many of them there are that want severe restrictions on what can be put out there in front of people. All of them, perhaps?
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know how much of Telltale you watch, but he has that series on cults, right?
Uh-huh.
And he uses that bite model to evaluate them, and one
Yeah.
of them is information control. And so, yeah, these people want to keep their congregations ignorant, because otherwise they'll start to, like I say, see behind the curtain.
So the one thing I do wonder, though, is how many of them withhold it or try to withhold it from the world as opposed to withhold it from their own congregations.
How would they ever manage that?
I know. I wonder how many there are who try, though,
Well, but try how? I mean, that's my question, is what are they doing if they're going to attempt that? I mean, how do they even imagine they'll succeed?
I'm not sure how they would.
No. How do they think they'll succeed?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what they would be thinking. I'm wondering if they're thinking, can we draft some sort of legislation that would target anything but what we do, the way they're trying to do with education.
Okay, but if they have to be able to block people's access to things like the internet. They'd have to have a way to confine what people see. And I don't think that's possible short of moving to a desert island somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I have to ask, how do they think they can accomplish this rather bizarre goal?
I would have to ask some of them. I mean, maybe none of them think it, but I simply wondered how many of them do, because you know how crazy these people can get with their ideas.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was that one dude who like what blew at the camera and said, "There, now you're protected from COVID-19 or some shit," because that was the breath of God.
Yeah.
You know the guy I'm talking about. I should know his name because I've heard it multiple times in the last week, but
I can
I'm
see
blanking.
I can see his face. If there's anything that looks
Oh.
demonic, it's his face.
He is one ugly fucker. It's true.
Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I'm trying to come up with his name.
Oh, I think it's Stuart Copeland.
Okay. Or Kenneth Copeland? Is that it?
Maybe that's it. I don't know where I got Stuart, but I knew the Copeland was right.
I'll tell you in a minute here.
Oop, that is not how you spell Stuart, Kate. Copeland. No, okay, Stuart Copeland seems to be a musician. Maybe it is Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah, it looks like Kenneth Copeland.
Yep, that's him.
Yeah, there's the one picture of him pointing right at the camera, and God, man.
The one where he's like snarling. Oh no, the other one where he's pointing. There are so many where he's pointing at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Net worth.
Oh, I just had a horrible idea of running this guy through that gender filter on my phone. You know, the funny thing is I've tried to do that with Joe Biden, and he always just comes out looking like Joe Biden with long hair.
Okay, yeah.
But for those who don't want to look the guy up, this is him.
That's the picture I was talking about when I talked about pointing at the camera. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I mean, there's others, and there's one where it's like from the side, him pointing at the camera. Like, let me see if here it is. Copy image. Bam, that one.
Oh, that's the one where he's giving the reporter a hard time. Yeah, I think she was asking him about why he needs the private jet and all that shit.
Yeah.
I forget the exact wording of his answer, but it was stupid.
Yeah.
Net worth $300 million as of April.
Man, $300 million. What I could do with that much money.
I know.
And I mean, like we went over this earlier about, it would be charity work or possibly making that movie that I want to make, but whatevs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it would last almost a year were you to somehow spend $1 million a day.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it would last, 9 months, basically. Yeah, 100 days and 3,
Okay, what the hell, phone? That is not what I asked you to do.
I mean, there...
Okay, I ran his face through that filter, and oh my gosh, it looks like a demon-possessed Rosanna Dana.
Oh boy!
I mean, the hair isn't quite as curly, but still, you'll see what I mean. Let me. I have to go through so many gymnastics to put this on my screen. I wish there was an easier way, but. There, that should be ready in a sec. Okay, there's this thing I think we should be able to do that I guess we don't have the technology yet, but it seems like it should be so easy to like Bluetooth your phone to your computer. I don't know if you've ever seen Avatar. Great movie, by the way, and it gets better with multiple rewatchings. But there was this scene where there's these people in like a control center, and there's an image up on a screen. and there's a guy holding what looks like a tablet, and he just puts his hand towards the screen and goes like this towards the tablet, and now what was on the screen is there.
Oh wow.
You know, like it transferred it to his device, obviously through a wireless connection, but the ability to do it was just as simple as swipe in the direction of your device.
Almost a
And
drag
I
and drop.
really think we should be able to do that technology, but we don't have it yet.
But we're close, because isn't there something you can do with a Wii that's kind of like that?
I've never used a Wii.
Oh, okay. There was one place I went where there were a bunch of us playing bowling on the Wii, and you held the thing and then you made the motion as if you were doing the bowling ball, and it aimed it and everything. Holy shit!
Not the same. That's not the same. That's more like AR. No, this is not controlling something on the screen, but rather transferring files from one device to another. But yeah, you can. That's him run through a gender filter. It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. So
Political
anyway,
party,
that's
Republican, of course. He has been identified as preaching the prosperity gospel. Well, how do you think he came to be worth $300 million? Give me all your money and you will have wealth in the next life. You know, it's like, you fucking fraud. Wait a minute. Holy fucking shit. Oh no. Kenneth Copeland Airport is a public airport located 18 miles northwest of the Central Business District of Fort Worth, Texas. Ow, 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 ow. The airport was formerly known as Marine Corps Air Station Eagle Mountain Lake until it was purchased by Kenneth Copeland Ministries in the 1980s. How did I guess? Eek. Easy am I not to knowing for this is uninto by for to that, you know, is there. No, Kitty, I don't understand any of it. I don't.
Okay, hunger is becoming acute. I think I have to go.
Oh my. Okay, so even your hunger is pretty good looking. All right.
Yeah, no, actually, it's probably a lot closer to. Yeah. Anyway, so I do have to go, though I'm very hungry.
Okay, well, food would be a good idea then, and
Yep.
so
have
wonderful
fun.
having you here all the time, and you have the fun, and you have the nom noms, and see you Tuesday maybe, huh?
Sure.
Yay! Take care, honey. Oh my, and here we are on camera 2. And now we see on camera 3 the brother known as Simon on the family tree. Look that one up. Oh my word. What do we have? Oh my word, we have 5 people besides myself watching. And yeah, well, we've been going for about 3.5 hours. So maybe what we'll do is let you guys do something about breakfast, lunch, dinner, wherever the heck it is you are. And what are you doing? Honey, what are you eating? What are you doing and why are you doing it? Give me half a second here, because this is not looking right. Oh, what are you doing, huh? What are you doing? I don't see what you're doing. Oh, I see what she was doing. I know what she was doing. For a minute there, I thought she was trying to eat up my aloe vera plant. And as it turns out, there was a fly, and there still is, buzzing around between the panes of the window. Yeah. Great gray and white hunter over there. I just don't know. I really don't. But that's beside the point. And there we all are. Yay! And there goes Amiga Nuts shilling away. I love you, sweetie. You are just totally amazing. I'll let you do some shilling while I say to everybody, I want to thank everybody who's here, and I want to thank everybody who is not here. It is for all of you that we do this, and it is a joyous thing. It really is. I can think of some things I would rather do, but they're rather prurient, so we won't mention anything on the air. Like that's ever going to happen. Okay, but I want to thank everyone, really, because this is just an absolute joy to do this, and I am so appreciative that you appreciate us, really, and you keep appreciating. We'll keep doing it one way or another, and what I will then say to you wonderful people, before I pour another cup of coffee and root around at the Frigginator for some lunch. Thanks a lot, folks. See you on the other side.